lighter. I feel more energetic. It is a lifestyle that will help you to lose weight without medication.
Thanks, Joan. Tom Shattuck here. Stories like Joan's are the reason I continue to share the Awaken 180 message. The results speak for themselves, and I'm confident you'll have the same success if you let them do what Joan did, what I did, and what over 24,000 others have done, and choose the solution for weight loss. It's easy. Get them online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the Radio. Turn it up. Turn it up loud. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the Radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
And a hearty Tuesday to all of you out there across the fruited plain. I think President Trump is going to have to start playing that T-Pain song, Roland. All I do is win, no matter what. He's got to rock that. He's got to rock that. I just saw this. This just came over the wire. I guess it was about an hour ago, but I just saw it.
We start, though, with breaking news at the Supreme Court. It just handed President Trump another win, allowing his administration to fire hundreds of probationary federal workers. I want to get straight to Paula Reed, who was looking through the decision. Paula, what did they say?
They say that Donald Trump won again. That's all he said. I don't need her report. All I do is win, no matter what. Look, this is, it's not easy to be a winner. I'm going to be mean when I say this. It ain't easy. It ain't easy. Everybody's gunning for you. It doesn't fail. Everybody is gunning for you because it's not just about beating you. It's about thinking you don't deserve the win. That's what that's about. That's in every one of you. If you're out there, I love this Cat Williams bit that he used to do. Are you a fan of Cat Williams at all, Roland?
Yeah.
Okay, so you remember when Cat back, I want to say at least 10, 12 years ago, did this bit on air about people complaining about haters, and he goes on this tirade about go out there and get you some more haters. You ain't got enough.
Yeah.
I love that. I wasn't even a Cat Williams fan until I saw that a couple of years ago. I was like, I think he's a little too ghetto for my liking. But then he did that bit about haters. And I think that's how a comedian connects with you. He says something that relates to you, and then you go, okay, now I get him. And he started talking about haters. And it's like, don't complain about them. You don't have enough. Because having haters, no one's ever hated you for losing. They mock you for losing. Hating is about winning. It means you're doing something right that they disapprove of. That's all. When they have to call you names, it's about cutting you down. What is cutting you down about? You stand too tall. That's always what it's going to be about. So what Kat was saying in that, and not many people agree, but I do. If you don't have enough hate, or if you have haters, go out there and get some more. What he's saying is not go out there and antagonize haters. Keep winning. That's the whole point. Now, I say this because, of course, I'm going to make this about me. Sorry. I just have to. Hear me out. So on yesterday's show, there were a lot of people very antagonized about some things that I said about the left. But I warned everybody when I joined this network some 3 years ago. Don't doubt me. If I say something to you, I'm not just grabbing stuff out of my rump and saying, let's see if this sticks. I don't. I feel it. I involve myself in the atmosphere every day. My good friend A.K. King, Anthony K. King, singer. Go look him up. He's got a great song called Talk to God, one of my favorite songs. Anthony A.K. King used to say to me all the time, used to use the words. First time I ever heard anybody use the phrase. It's in the vibration. I always thought it was corny, but I get it now. Check the vibration. And I know in politics and pop culture, I feel the vibration. And on yesterday's show, I played clips from Barack Obama and Senator Chris Murphy talking about their constituents making sacrifices or taking risks. Pretty much the same thing. And I got beaten over the head about, how dare you say that they are promoting violence? How are they not? What other sacrifice could there be other than walking out there holding up signs saying we're against Donald Trump and Elon Musk? If they weren't about violence, because there's nothing, what else is there to do other than protest? How about burning cars? Is that a form of violence? Yes, it is. Is it the same ideological group that's doing that? Yes, they are. Was Thomas Crook some radical person on the right when he took a shot at President Trump? No, he was not. Was James Hodgkins some radical person on the right? No. Bernie Sanders volunteer and Rachel Maddow follower. And I said yesterday that after January 6th did not work in the election of November 5th, that the Democrats were going to be desperate enough to start embracing the violence they were trying to admonish. That they would say, wow, Republicans got their way attacking the Capitol. It didn't faze them. Even though they had been committing violence far before January 6th. Remember the Summer of Love? I sure do. They had been pulling this off for a long time, burning down private businesses, destroying cities. That was everywhere. But we had to ignore that for January 6th. And they thought January 6th was going to be the one. They thought it was going to be the cudgel that was going to get them back into power. Kamala, here we come. It didn't work. So they go back to their old ways. It's who they are, whether underground. It's who they are. They've always been. They thought January 6th and the Summer of Love, or January 6th in particular, was going to wipe out all their bad deeds, all of their assassination attempts, all of their violent rhetoric and violent attacks. They thought January 6th, because it was on the Capitol building in Washington, that it was going to wash away all their misdeeds. But I told you they were going to get back to the way that they were. They've always been violent people. And then, after the show, I was just strolling around on the internet, just playing around like I do. And I was looking up stuff. And then I found that Megyn Kelly had been given the documents from the Covenant School shooter. Remember Aiden? That's what she was calling herself when she killed the 3 children and 3 administrators in the school in Nashville. You know, the manifesto that the police department didn't want to give out, and they told us, no, it had nothing to do with her trans ideology. Well, Megyn Kelly got those, and she was talking about it. And I was watching her whole show. It was about an hour and a half. She had Victor David Hanson on the show. She's talking to him about it. I'm waiting for her to get to it, so I'm scrolling and I'm fast-forwarding it. And then I got to this portion of her show. And I went, what? There's no way that I found this just after I did a show about leftist violence. Right after I was admonished for even suggesting that Barack Obama and Chris Murphy were telling people that they needed to sacrifice or take risks, was tantamount to telling them to do something off the rails. Megyn Kelly said this on her show.
The Federalist producing a survey. It was done by the Network of Contagion Research Institute, NCRI, in partnership with Rutgers University.
Not a Republican school. It's not Hillsdale. It's Rutgers.
That finds 55% of self-identified leftists say killing Trump is justifiable. They go on to say that this is about something more than just the desire to kill Trump. There is a broader assassination culture that appears to be emerging within segments of the U.S. public on the extreme left. Quote, these attitudes are not fringe. They reflect an emergent assassination culture grounded in far-left authoritarianism and increasingly normalized in digital discourse. The reports found widespread justification for lethal violence, including assassination among younger, highly online, and ideologically left-aligned users. The report points to disturbingly high levels of support for political violence, particularly against Trump and Elon Musk.
Doge found.
So, if I'm hearing this correctly, this is something that was in the vibration. Why are they doing a study about this? Why is this relevant? And there are plenty of people out there who are listening to my voice right now who know that these reports are put out in advance to something that happens later on. That's always the case. Someone puts out a report. Some people call it a psyop, but that's usually the case. Why would they be looking into this? Rutgers of all places? What's the purpose? I'll tell you what the purpose is. Because the hatred of Elon Musk and Donald Trump must be normalized. It has to be normalized. And James S. says, sick bastards. Hey, I couldn't agree with you more. Lori says, pure evil has taken up residence in the sector of our society. It has. Because remember, they're not in the interest of changing hearts and minds. It's mob rule. It's tyranny. It's agree or else. So instead of anybody on the left coming forward, standing up and saying enough is enough, we will not tolerate this, people sit silent. They argue with me about it, never addressing the issue. Address the person talking about it, making it clear that this is a problem within their electorate. Say things to me like, that's not true. That's not real. We all know it's true. And again, look, with all due respect, just so for those of you on the left, no one's trying to convince you. I'm not trying to win hearts and minds. Why would I bother to do something for you you wouldn't even give to me? I'm not trying to win your hearts and minds. You're already gone. There's no rationalizing with you. There's no reason with you. You gave up being pragmatic a long time ago. You're a hater. And I know hate all too well. I used to be one. I used to be a strong hater. And I know how haters think. I know how haters live. So I know there's no convincing you. So I'm not worried about all of that. So when I hear these people in opposition and me trying to say, oh, Reese, you think you're always right. I know I'm not always wrong. I know I'm not always wrong. That's all you needed to hear. Speaking of which, when we come back, I want to make sure that I bring this up. When we come back, who told us that the protest on April 5th were not paid for. Who told us that? Who are the people who told us that that thing was organic? Who are you? Who are the people running around saying that, no, that was real? Sorry, baby. Sorry. I'm about to burst your bubble. And oh, is it a big bubble we're going to burst today? We have verifiable evidence that the whole thing was staged. It's so bad that the person who revealed it is in hiding. And the worst off, let me tell you this. I'll tell you the worst off about this. The worst part about this whole staged rally on Saturday, where all of these people were pumping their chest up. I'm looking at you, William Tong. Where all of you people were pumping your chest up, every one of those people showed up and got slave wages to do it. Oh, it was so North Korea. Tong, Murphy, well, Murphy wasn't there. Blumenthal, Lamont, you should all be ashamed of yourself. You were screaming and hollering to paid participants. And the amount of money they were paid were off. I mean, I wouldn't have done it. Not for that, not for my time. Not to be on camera with those weirdos walking around with ridiculous outfits on, with stupid signs. Stupid signs. All people are children of the earth. That sign got $10. They paid $10 for that sign. It's incredible. We'll have all that audio for you as well. Plus, I've got plenty more. The stupidest thing I read today, I would never make a commercial for second place. But apparently somebody else did. We'll talk about that as well. And what else did I have here? I am going to be making my first political commercial. And I think, and I'm going to spend a lot of time on it tonight. I'm going to see if I can release it as early as tomorrow's show. It is going to be a radio commercial that I'm going to release, and I am going to ask all of you to spread it around to your friends. I'm going to play one snippet of it and where I got the idea from, and it is from none other than our good friend, Jasmine Crockett in Tubbs. I think that this ad is perfect. I think this ad should be run in the midterms. In fact, I think whoever's running for office right now, if there's a special election coming up and you're going up against a liberal, I want this ad. You can, again, I will, what do you call it? License it out to anyone who wants it. But I'm going to play the piece today. Well, at least just one piece today that inspired it. But I'm going to make that political ad tonight, without a doubt, and I'm going to air it for the first time on tomorrow's show. I'll definitely do that. So stick around for that. Don't forget, it's peanut butter and jelly time. Make sure you check out our friends at Between Rounds to get yourself a Reese's peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
It's peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat.
That's right. Every Between Rounds Reese's peanut butter and jelly sandwich that you buy, $1 goes to our folks at the Friendly Hands Food Bank. Karen Thomas, I love them. Love Between Rounds. Proud sponsors of this network, this program, and now friends of mine on Facebook and Instagram. I didn't even have to ask. So I love them. I hope they're with me for a long time. I hope I'm with them for a long time. This is it's a great opportunity to do this for the people of Connecticut, those who are in need. And I'm so happy to be a part of it with Between Rounds and Friendly Hands Food Bank. So make that happen. If you haven't, take your time. You got all month to go do it. You don't have to do it today, but do it sometime this month. It's peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and it's $1 going to them. All right. And if you just want to donate to Friendly Hands Food Bank, you can do that as well. So I'd appreciate it. We'll take a break. We got more news, more views. Jasmine Crockett, when we return, stick around for that. And also paid, the hands off paid parade when we return. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Connecticut hospitals care for more than just patients. They care for our workforce, creating 245,000 jobs. They care for our economy as the largest employer in Connecticut. They care for our communities, connecting residents to health screenings, nutritious food, and stable housing. And they care for our future, making healthcare accessible, equitable, and affordable. Connecticut hospitals create real change by caring for Connecticut. Learn more at caringforct.org.
Some people follow the rules, but where's the fun in that? I'm Soraya, and this is Rule Breakers, the podcast where we celebrate the rebels, the risk takers, and the ones who make their own way. Every week, I sit down with the boldest voices in sports.
Yeah, Brandon, I
entertainment,
saw
and
that
beyond
too.
to
A
talk
lot
about
of
breaking
people had that
barriers,
sign.
defying expectations and rewriting the rules. No limits, no apologies, just real talk. Follow and listen to Rule Breakers with Soraya, an Odyssey podcast available now for free on the Odyssey app and wherever you get your podcasts.
Being injured in an accident can leave you feeling vulnerable and lost. You need a fast and fair resolution and a law firm that can protect you. At Brown, Payne, Dearest & Scott, our team of personal injury lawyers have over 100 years of combined experience and will treat you with respect and dignity. If you've been injured, BPS lawyers are here to help. At BPS Lawyers, you get more than a lawyer. You get a full-service law firm. Call us at 860-CALL-BPS or visit bpslawyers.com. Bruce Newman is responsible for the content of this ad.
Get a head start to your day with WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen to us live on the Odyssey app before you even hit the road. Get the breakdown on the biggest news stories that Connecticut is talking about. To get started, download the Odyssey app and search for WTIC News Talk 1080.
Second opinions.
You get them with your health.
So why not with your wealth?
Your stock market investments deserve a second opinion.
At Henyon & Walsh, it only takes a second
to schedule your free second opinion.
Go online and search for Henyon & Walsh, the second opinion people. Investing involves risk, including the possible loss of principal. Advisory services provided by Henyon & Walsh Asset Management. Securities offered by Henyon & Walsh Inc., member FINRA, SIPC.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 3:30. I'm John Silva. The parade for the national champion UConn women's basketball team is set. The festivities get underway Saturday at 11 from the state capitol. Parade will wind its way north on Trinity, head right onto Jewel, and then left onto Trumbull. It'll be culminated with a rally outside the XL Center. There's a map of the route on our website, WTIC.com. New Haven's Police Chief Carl Jacobson is about to provide an update on a double homicide in the city. Two men found shots in the area of Winter and Goff Streets Monday night. One died at the scene, the other at the hospital. Anyone with any information being asked to contact the NHPD. Man is dead after he was struck by a vehicle in Hartford while riding a bike Monday night. Officers say 42-year-old Nicholas Thompson was found on Main Street and later pronounced dead at a local hospital. Detectives say the car then that hit Thompson then took off, struck another vehicle, and became disabled before those inside fled on foot. Waterbury police are investigating following the discovery of a bullet at a local school. The find reported on Friday at Gilmartin Elementary on Spring Lake Road. Bullet was turned over to responding officers who conducted a thorough search of the school. They determined there was no threat. White House sending messages on tariffs as it pursues conflicting goals, frustrating foreign leaders and business executives who are desperate for clarity on the overhaul of international trade. Stocks rose early as some relief flows through the financial markets, but they have retreated as the afternoon has progressed. The Dow is currently down about 296 points. The NASDAQ down 325 and the S&P down 75 points. WTIC News Time is 3:32. Here's Jason Caterina with the forecast.
For the rest of our Tuesday afternoon, mostly cloudy, windy, and chilly with the high of 43. And tonight, partly cloudy, breezy, and cold with the low dropping down to 28. Still breezy Wednesday, otherwise mostly sunny. Another chilly day, though, with the high of 46. Clear and cold Wednesday night, the low down to 24. And Thursday, some sun before turning cloudy, though a touch milder with the high moving up to 52 on Thursday. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
All right, currently we have cloudy skies. It's 40 degrees in Hartford. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help Marty.
I was a really grumpy guy, sleeping like garbage, and getting older, the energy level was just in the toilet. And that was what led to me going in. I've been treated at Northeast Men's Health for low testosterone, coming on about 2 years now. Within a few weeks, I started noticing I was sleeping a little bit better. I definitely noticed a higher energy level, but the old man crankiness just went away. I'm able to stay really well organized. Nothing slips through the cracks. Having the T treatment is leading me to keep on top of my game. What I would say to any other guy that is in the same situation where they feel like they're dragging, just call Northeast Men's Health. You won't regret it.
Thanks, Marty. It's true. Low T therapy can dramatically change your life. Your initial appointment is only $99 with results in minutes. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call today, 800-930-5956, or go to northeastmenshealth.com.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
Okay, raise your hand if you want to make your life a little bit easier. Great. Now raise your other hand if you like to be comfortable. Perfect. Now that you have both hands raised, imagine putting on your shoes. And that, folks, right there is your answer to an easier, more comfortable life. Go hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins. This is footwear you don't need your hands to put on. They can be raised in the air, and you can just step it and go. Why don't you experience what people can't stop talking about? Life-changing Skechers Slip-ins. Get your Slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Hard work and dreams lead to success, but easily filing your taxes with TurboTax and Credit Karma doesn't hurt either. Make filing taxes a walk in the park, because we'll pre-fill your info for you so you can file quickly and confidently. Winner! Get the peace of mind that comes with expert help. Let's go! Being powered by TurboTax means you're backed by the leading tax preparer, and we'll show you all your filing options up front so there are no surprises. File your taxes on Intuit Credit Karma today. Expert help not available with all products. Guarantee details available at turbotax.com/guarantee.
Slow? Clogged? Backed up? Don't worry. ALO Home Services has you covered. For only $93, our technician will clear any drain in your home. And if it can't be cleared, it's free. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P102776688, D10401465, E1185643, S3308699, HIC 628926, SM3004646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
Seems everything costs more these days.
1 minute.
And when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes
We
to
must be
wireless,
filling up
if
the
you're staying,
airwaves.
You may be overpaying. Switch. Same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near
That's
you,
a new
or
ad, isn't it?
consumercellular.com and start saving today.
I don't think so.
Auto pay and e-billing, taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Build monthly.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
Rocking and shocking you. Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. Let me play this, and then I'll get into the phone calls. This is a young lady. I don't think she even gave her name. But in full disclosure, after listening to her say the word like a million times, I realized something about this young lady. I would have dated her. Without a doubt. This would have been my girlfriend in the mid-90s. I used to make fun of girls who used to do that all the time. In the middle of every sentence, they would say, and like, and then like, and then like. This woman does this throughout the entire thing. Let me go through it. She was at one of the rallies. She does not disclose which one she was in. But she went to the rally. Now, here's what made it so brilliant. And it will be described here, but I want to get to it before she does. Here's what made it brilliant. Because I know some of you out there are asking yourself, damn, how much money did they possibly pay for this? And then this woman revealed something that made sense to me. Think about it. Think about it. You show up at the rally, and you're only going to be there for about 2 hours. Not 3, not 4, not 5, 2 hours. And if you're a company that's, funded, be it George Soros, the Ford Foundation, whatever it is, whatever these left-wing outfits are, they're going to be spending millions of dollars here. But how do you really maximize the amount of money you're going to give to this charity before it blows up? You have to do 2 things. One, you have to have a controlled burn, as it were. You must control the amount of people who are showing up because you could get so many that you have to pay a lot of money. The other side is this. Imagine you put a caveat on your attendance. Perhaps I say you have to meet a certain criteria after the protest in order to get paid. That, my friends, is brilliant. Now let's go. Listen closely. This is a young lady talking about, the first clip talks about what they told her to do when she arrived.
I was one of the paid protesters at the April 5th liberal protests. And so I just wanted to come on and talk about my experience, what I had to do to get paid, and how much I got paid. So there were 2 kind of parts to it. The first was obviously just showing up. They gave me like a time and a place and told me to look for a girl with blue hair and a nose ring, which I thought would be really hard because I thought everyone was going to look like that. But luckily, she was the only one. It was really easy to find her. So yeah, that was good. I checked in. They told you that you couldn't wear anything MAGA. They also asked you not to wear red. So I just wore a black t-shirt and jeans. And yeah, I checked in, and then they said just go on the march. And then at the end, there would be a questionnaire to answer. Oh, and then the other thing is they said they would pay extra if you brought a sign. So I did bring a sign. Again, same thing, couldn't be MAGA, had to be in line with the liberal agenda. So my sign said, everyone deserves a good education, which I don't necessarily personally agree with. If you're gonna be a server or a mechanic, you don't really need an education, but I wanted to fit in. I wanted the money.
So she just had the most basic sign that she could think of. She just wrote, everybody deserves a quality education. Sounds like yesterday, right? When the guy who had the sign that says everyone is a child of the earth or something to that. I don't know, whatever he had. Very basic signs, right? So this went on. But here's the brilliant part. So how do you get paid after? You show up at the protest, you're there for 2 hours. How do you get paid? Do you just get paid by showing up? No. Remember, they gave her instructions. Wear no red, wear nothing that said MAGA, and come with a sign so you could get paid extra. So the whole rally is over, and this young lady describes how she got paid.
So anyways, I went on the march, and then at the end, I had to check back in, and that's when they gave me the questionnaire. And okay, the interesting thing is, like, you had to answer the questionnaire as if you were a liberal, and there were right and wrong answers. Like, it wasn't just like whatever you thought. Like, you could get the questions wrong, and you had to get them right in order to get paid. At this point, I had already invested like 2 hours of my time, so I wanted the money, you know? So the first question, for example, was why do Republicans want more women to stay home and not work and not have jobs?
This is beautiful. Why do Republicans want women to stay home? I can answer this question because a woman don't need to be out there working. Sorry. Let's go on.
And again, I just kind of like had to put myself in like their mindset.
Which should be easy, sweetheart, even for you.
So I wrote basically like if women don't have jobs or job experiences and they have to rely on men financially, and that gives men a lot more control over their lives. For example, like, you know, if like she's in an abusive situation or whatever, she can't really leave, especially if she has kids. She doesn't really have the means to take care of them, and she doesn't have the experience to get a job that could like afford to take care of them. So it just gives like the men a lot more control to kind of do what they want her to do, basically.
Now, a lot of this is very funny to me because while you're listening to this and she's explaining these very based liberal ideologies in explaining it, she was going to get that question right. There's no way she can fail this. She said, I tried to put myself in the mind of a liberal. Anybody could do that. The antithesis of sense. Just take common sense and bury it. That's how you talk. That's how you think like a liberal. So, okay, here's another part. Remember, this is a liberal outfit, indivisible, well-funded. And on their questionnaire was a question that blew my mind. You just lost an election to Donald Trump, his third election. And one of the key tenets of that loss had to do with people rejecting leftist ideology as it pertains to race. In particular, CRT, critical race theory. Listen to the second question that the woman was asked on the questionnaire.
There were some that I just like didn't really know what they would consider a right answer, you know? So I just asked, I was like, what do I do if I don't know how to answer this? And she said, just like do your best and then come talk to her at the end. So for example, there was one I didn't really know what to say. It was like, what is critical race theory and why should it be taught? And like, what's an example of like something that you could learn from it?
Now, she didn't know the answer to this question. She thought it was kind of a tricky one for her. She says, I don't know how to answer the CRT question. So the woman who gave her the pamphlet said, if you ever have any problems with any of the questions, come and ask and we'll assist you. So she did. She wanted to make sure she got paid. So she asked the lady, the CRT thing? Huh? What's that?
She explained that during slavery and during Jim Crow and like even after that in some places, like Black families have been essentially barred from owning homes, where like white families could own a home and then like pass that down, and their family can either like live in that home and not have to pay for a mortgage, or they could sell that and then use that money towards like other opportunities. But because Black families weren't able to own homes, they weren't able to like accumulate that wealth in the same way, and they had to like spend more of their income on rent. they weren't getting that back the way you get back, when you buy a house.
So the woman, the blue-haired woman, gave her the very basic white on the left answer to CRT, because black people don't own homes, they only rent. And that is a form of redlining. It's the worst answer ever. Just the worst. Last but not least in this clip, she explains how she got paid and how she got paid for the sign. So remember, they give you questions and you get extra money if you come in with your own sign. Here's how she ended it.
I got paid $100 for going to the protest, and then I got paid an extra $10 for bringing the sign. And overall, it was a pretty good experience. The people were pretty nice. Everyone smelled really good, which was a surprise to me. But yeah, so the questionnaire had 8 questions. So let me know if you want me to talk about the other questions. Or let me know if you have any questions. And then I think people got different questions on that questionnaire. So let me know what your questions were and did you get them right? Did you get them wrong?
She's so ditzy, she's beautiful. Before I married my very capable and smart wife, this would have been wife number 4. I'm sorry. I was a different person back then, okay? Give me some props here. I've evolved. I'm a much smarter man today. But she was... everything about her reminded me of dating girls in the 90s. The twirling of the hair. Just everything about it. I'm sorry, I can't help myself. As I was listening to her, I was just going, yeah, that would have... My wife even watched it and just went, you'd have dated her in the 90s, wouldn't you have? I was like, guilty. She's right up my alley. Yeah, she's not Mensa, John Beckman says. So again, what do you do to get all of those people out there? It's real simple. How do you ensure that you don't have to pay everyone? Make sure that they are part of the cause, that they're not there just to get paid. You don't have to pay anyone. Can you pass this questionnaire? You have to answer these questions. You have to answer them honestly. If you can't answer these questions honestly, we can't pay you. So that's all I'm saying. Let's admit it. None of this was organic. How could it be? It doesn't make any sense. People are saying, no, the ones in Connecticut were real. Really? You're going to tell me Indivisible has that kind of influence? Where were all the young people? Where were they? Why are there all these older people there? Nothing against them, but why are they there? Why are they there? When we come back, a very startling story that a lot of you have heard, but now we got the deep end of it. And I would like to ask a question that Stuart Varney doesn't ask in this clip. Doesn't ask. Why don't we use this data to find out more? It has to do with Social Security and illegals. We'll get to that in a little bit. So stick around. We'll get to your phone calls as well. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Whether you're shaping up a small yard or tackling serious acreage, Steel walk-behind zero-turn and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow. Available at participating dealers.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
When you're hiring, Have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Attention. Up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
It's Reese on the Radio. Ask your doctor if common sense is right for you. On News Talk 1080 WTIC.
I'm getting some commentary in the chat room about why don't people who are at the rally call in? Do I really have to ask them to? Get on the phone. 860-522-WTIC. You know you're listening. Get on and tell me, I didn't get paid. But you won't, because then you know that's going to lead to other questions that you can't answer. Worst part is that anybody who's in my chat room advocating for the people who were there and claiming that they weren't paid, but yet you weren't there physically at any of the rallies, I don't think you got anything to say. How do you, I don't understand how anybody separates themselves from the actual rally from afar and then say what the integrity of the rally was. I wasn't there, but they were honestly angry. Why weren't you there? Why didn't you ask? People are going to say that this is phony and it was AstroTurf. Were you paid to be here? I would have asked, whether it was with my group or not. Hey, man, is this real? Is this organic? Hey, are people getting paid? I'd have just asked, but no, standing on the sidelines wanting to believe. No, it was organic. It was real. They were angry. I don't have a problem with what you believe. I got no issue with what you believe. That's all I'm saying. Let's go to Ralph in South Carolina. How we doing, Ralphie boy?
Reese, I got a question for you.
What do you got, sir?
They had a black professor on today. Claiming that all 77+ million people who voted for Trump are racist.
Ed Glad.
And the only reason they didn't vote for the black woman was because she was a black female.
Eddie Glad. His name is Eddie Glad. Glaude. He was on Nicole Wallace's show. I watched that. And to be honest with you, sometimes I get roped into these silly, silly Negroes who are on the white man's network talking about how everybody's racist to the white man on the white man's network. And I can't help but say to myself, you are so based. He is the Eddie Glad. And you know what I noticed? Did you notice he was crying, Ralph? Did you notice that every time he talks about that, he's always crying?
Reese, let me bring up one thing, okay? If I tell you, you've got to vote for someone because of their color of their skin and their gender, is that racism and feminism?
Of course it is. That's my whole point.
Of course it is.
They don't listen. But you have to remember, listen, here's the deal, right? This is one of those things where I call this like, it's permitted bigotry. right? You can say, you remember my conversation yesterday with Tim in Hamden, right? When I asked him to tell me the motives of Bernie Sanders, I don't know what he's thinking, but he knew those of Donald Trump. It's almost the argument that I always say, like the 4 C's of politics that you can be critical of, right? Caucasians, Catholics, conservatives, and cops. You can say whatever you want about those groups. Outside of them, you're a racist, a bigot, and a homophobe. So that's why I say I don't listen to these people ever. I can't and I won't. I just won't because they're just too silly. Thank you, Ralph. I got to go. Let's get our first check of the weather and traffic. Jason Caterina is in your weather center with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. How are you, sir?
Hey, Reese, I'm doing real well. Hope you are too. Good afternoon to you. Southbound 91 coming into Hartford, delays 34, down to 32 A and B. If you're northbound 91, that moves well. Cromwell through downtown up into Winter. Westbound 84 tied up, approaching the Boulter Bridge up to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound delays about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 291, 384 okay east of the river. 2 eastbound moving well as you move East Hartford into Glastonbury. If you are heading into Middletown, 9 northbound delays Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 9 north again slowing from exit 32 in Berlin up to 34 in New Britain. Westbound 84 is a little tight. 22 up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. If you're traveling eastbound 84, Newtown a little slow, 10 to 11. In the southbound side of the Parkway, some slow traffic as you move into the West Rock Tunnel. In 95 South, a little tight between exit 46 and 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Tuesday afternoon, mostly cloudy, windy, and chilly. It's going to feel cold at times. The high only 43. Now partly cloudy, breezy, and cold tonight with the low down to 28. Still breezy Wednesday, otherwise mostly sunny. Another chilly day for us with a high 46. Wednesday night, clear and colder with the low down to 24. Now we'll get some sun before turning cloudy on Thursday. It'll be a touch milder with the high moving up to 52. A damp, raw day on Friday with periods of rain, so make sure you take your umbrella. The high of 51. Overcast Friday night, some late night rain. That's going to be heavy at times, leading into occasional rain and drizzle during the day on Saturday. It'll be a damp, raw, and chilly day Saturday with the high of 46. Now Sunday, remaining cloudy, a couple of afternoon showers, but milder, at least. The high moving up to 56 for us on Sunday. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest. WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
4 o'clock, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. New Haven police believe there is a shooter at large after a double homicide in the city Monday night. No weapons were found at the scene where 2 men were fatally shot. 49-year-old Clifford Capehart of New Haven and 39-year-old Kayron Troutman of Hamden. This is New Haven Police Chief Carl Jacobson.
Yeah, we know that those two were friendly. And we actually think this might have been a robbery or a drug deal gone bad because of the evidence found on scene.
Which included evidence of drugs. The shooting occurred at Winter and Goff Streets in the Elm City just before 10 last night. Chief Jacobson says one of the victims, Capehart, was on probation for federal drug charges. The name of the man who was struck by a vehicle in Hartford last night and killed while riding a bike has been released. He's been identified as 42-year-old Nicholas Thompson. He was found unresponsive on Main Street. The offending vehicle hit another car and became disabled before those inside fled the scene. That investigation is ongoing. Hartford plans a typically short and sweet championship parade for the UConn women's basketball team. It is set for late Saturday morning along the same route used for when the men won the last couple of years. Parade steps off from the Capitol at 11. We'll head along Trinity, Jewel, and Trumbull Streets, ending with an 11:30 rally in front of the XL Center. The events director at the Hartford Business Improvement District, Chip McCabe, says the plan fits the occasion.
I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan, and I know their parade was like 4 miles long. We're not gonna do something like that. this route is not necessarily about length. It's about getting as many people as possible to, put eyes on the team and have fun and enjoy themselves downtown Hartford.
As in previous years, McCabe is seeking private sponsors to cover expenses in the low six figures. Governor Lamont says no state or city funds will go toward the parade, paying for the parade. President Trump has been busy working the phones. The White House says 70 countries have reached out to begin negotiations on tariffs. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
Countries are falling over themselves to reform their unfair trade practices and free open their markets to our country. Why? Because these countries greatly respect President Trump and the sheer power of the American market.
China apparently not one of them. Correspondent Anna Corin is in Beijing.
China's Commerce Ministry today described U.S. actions as bullying and blackmail, and said the country will resolutely take countermeasures to safeguard its own rights and interests.
Canada announces that counter tariffs will begin on things made here in the U.S. beginning at midnight.
I'm Matt Piper. Canada says it will start imposing a 25% tariff on certain U.S. auto imports beginning tonight at 12:01 a.m. The retaliatory measure is in response to President Trump's levies on foreign-made cars and trucks. Canada's finance minister says in a statement, Canada continues to respond forcefully to all unwarranted and unreasonable tariffs. Canadian officials say the tariffs will apply to about 10% of all vehicles shipped from the U.S.
In the Dominican Republic, authorities say 44 are dead following the collapse of a roof on a nightclub. 160 others injured. Crews are still searching for survivors at the Jet Set Club. Among the dead, former MLB pitcher Octavio Dotel and the governor of the Northwest Province, Monte Cristi. Closing bell report sponsored by Bouvier Insurance. Well, they started out good, the markets did, and then they fell on their face again. Dow lost 320 points today, NASDAQ down 335, and the S&P off 79 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid.
Oh, man.
And they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA. Or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Stay tuned for this audio I've got that's going to, I think it inspired me because I had to do it. And it makes me angry when I hear people talk like this, and it's despicable and disgusting. But I got to do this thing with Jasmine Crockett. We'll play that audio in a little bit. Stay tuned for that. Also, stupidest thing I read today has to do with MSNBC and what they're doing. I guess in some sort of attempt to bring attention to themselves, I would have never done anything this stupid, but they are. And we'll talk about that a little bit as well. Plus, we'll go back over this because I know we got a lot of phone calls about it. This stage protest that, again, is meaningless because I still don't get it, what the purpose of it is. And as well as the violent rhetoric that's coming out of the left. And the study that was done at Rutgers, there's a breakdown in all of this, which is what the concern is. The Democrats don't have anything to go on, and they are desperate, and their leadership looks bleak. How do I put this? If Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is the front runner with 10% of the vote in Democrat circles, that is a testament that the Democrats are far beyond saving or salvaging. They just are. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has passed no legislation. None. She is a TikTok leader, an Instagram leader at best. And she is the front runner. She is on par or on pace to unseat Chuck Schumer in a Senate race in New York, while her constituents, the region that she governs, has illegal immigrants selling people's stolen wares on the street. Illegals rob from people's homes and then sell it on the streets, as well as a prostitution problem you wouldn't ever imagine that's happening in broad daylight. And she's the front runner for Democrats. The fact that no one in the Democrat Party is saying, not her, is enough to tell you where they're leading themselves. Nobody's scared. Let's get another check of the weather and traffic with Jason Catarina and Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, bud.
All right, thank you very much, Reese. Southbound 91 coming in Hartford, delays 35 down to 32A and B. If you are traveling on the northbound side of I-91, good ride Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing, approaching the Bulkley Bridge. 47 Sigourney, 84 eastbound, you're tied up 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 291, 384, that looks good east of the river. 2 eastbound, OK Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound, slowing Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. If you're westbound 84, you got slow traffic in Waterbury 22 up to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound in Newtown, some slow traffic 10 up to 11. South 95 New Haven slowing a little bit between 44 and 43. Traffic and weather together on the 8s. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, windy and chilly out there and right now, and mainly clear, breezy, and cold tonight, approaching the record that was set back in 2018. We're not going to quite get there, but the low down to 25 tonight. Now, breezy for us on our Wednesday, otherwise mostly sunny. Another chilly day, the high 47. Clear to partly cloudy, cold again for tomorrow night, the low all the way down to 26. Some sun, then turning cloudy Thursday. A little milder, the high up to 52. Friday going to be a damp, raw, and chilly feeling day with periods of rain around throughout the day, the high of 51. Some late night rain, heavy at times Friday night. Then Saturday, chilly with occasional rain and drizzle again in the high of 46. Right now it's 40 in Meriden, 36 in Waterbury, 38 in Bristol, and 39 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
It's the Peter L. Brown Company's 65th anniversary. For a limited time, purchase high-performance double-pane windows from the Peter L. Brown Company and get an upgrade to super-efficient triple-pane glass at no additional charge. For a free estimate, please visit peterlbrown.com.
Join us this Sunday for Tumulo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father and son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch the replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumulo Financial Retirement Planning with Integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Dreaming of a perfect smile? At Columbia Dental, our orthodontic experts specialize in braces and clear aligners like Invisalign. Get the smile you've always dreamed of. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit columbiadental.com.
There's a lot on the line in a divorce. Your home, savings, retirement, maybe even kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions it can take, you really need a partner you can count on. I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. We're committed to helping protect your personal interests and the life you've built. Don't let divorce take more than it has to. Talk to us today.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Hartford area attorneys. Phyllis McCutcheon, licensed in Connecticut. Online at cordellcordell.com.
Hey, it's Tom Shattuck.
Oh, minute.
Finished month 2 of Awaken 180 Weight Loss. All right, Phil, it is the end of week 8 now, according to my calendar. And how are we looking?
We're looking good, Tom. This past week, I dropped another 4.8. Since the start date of February 5, I'm down 46 pounds.
Dang, that is amazing. So it's about right around 6 pounds per week.
The weight loss speaks for itself. It's keeping me motivated. I have no desire to cheat.
You're definitely a much thinner guy now. You look like a new Phil. And Phil, don't take this the wrong way, but you look younger too.
Well, that's a compliment, Tom. I thank you. In fact, I go to the local Y to do, some moderate workouts, nothing too crazy. And a guy came up to me and he said, "Man, you look great."
Phil does look great, and he's losing weight by eating right through Awaken 180 Weight Loss, and not by taking some experimental drug with a clinical name you can't pronounce. Make your consultation today.
Here we go.
346-1800 or at awaken180weightloss.com.
President of the Chris Murphy Fan Club, Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Go to some calls in a second. I just want to thank you, Craig, for sending this to me by Open Secrets. He sent me the number of bills that have been sponsored or co-sponsored by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I don't think we got anything on this one. I think we got zero. We'll talk about her in a little bit. Also, around 5 o'clock, I want to talk about these tariffs on China. It looks like Donald Trump is going to raise them, and China has decided how it's going to retaliate. And I'm going to start by saying, I'll be the first one to tell you, I am so happy that China is going to do what it says or threatens that it's going to do. If these tariffs, if tariff war, if it keeps going, what they are now threatening to do, I'm actually behind. I'm hoping China goes through with it. We'll talk about that in the 5 o'clock hour, and we'll take your phone calls, 860-522-WTIC. Let's go to Sean in Meriden. How are you, sir?
Good. I love your show.
Thank you.
I call often because I get educated. I think I know something, and I learn something new, and your callers are just as bright, so I really appreciate that.
My pleasure, sir. What do you got for me?
And at 65, to be still learning is really a cool thing.
Never too late, my friend.
Number one, you're hearing nothing about the 70 countries that are coming to the table about the tariffs.
Right.
And the protests, and I thought about this long and hard. The protests that they had the other day that were supposedly organic, which we're finding out, well I could watch them and said they weren't. And one of the things that Newsmax had was really, really cool, is all the places that they had the supposedly spontaneous demonstrations.
Mm-hmm.
Almost every single one of them was minority dominated population-wise, but not in the people protesting.
That's a very interesting point. Another very interesting point was in places like D.C. and in Boston, you may have seen the video of people being bussed in, which again is emblematic of it not being organic. Like you should not, like the people in Boston, if they are outraged, all they had to do was take the T. You take the T, you maybe take a local bus. You know what I'm saying? Like the T, if you live in Boston, you can take the T from Malden. You can take it from Mattaran. You can take it from anywhere in Boston. You don't have to be bussed in. And my question is, if you're being bussed in, from where? Are you being bussed in from Martha's Vineyard? Where's the other place that's up there? The other Hyannisport? Like, where are you being bussed in from? Boston is a major metropolis. That city should have been inundated with locals, and it wasn't.
And if it was like young people, you have like University Central.
Yes.
For all these college universities.
Such a good point.
Boom.
Good. Such a good point. Boston is a college area. They should have been overwhelmed with college kids.
And so it's a bunch of crap. The other thing is, I called Senator Blumenthal today, just before I talked to you, and I asked his office as to why I have not heard any comments about the violence, and why does Senator Blumenthal feel he should say something about, we can disagree on philosophy,
right?
But let's tone down the violence.
Exactly.
And one of his operators said this, and I got to read this because I don't want to get it wrong.
Okay.
I said, does he have any answer for that? And he says, quote, "It doesn't affect him, so no."
Whoa. Really? Blumenthal's office said that publicly?
Yep. And I was so hot that he even came close to that. I'm like, are you serious? He goes, if you raise your voice, I'm going to end this call. I said, no problem. I'll end it for you.
You see, that's the arrogance, right? It doesn't affect him, right? It doesn't matter about the legions of people in the state who purchased that car as, faithful stewards of the quote unquote Green New Scam, running around talking about how they're trying to reduce their carbon footprint, who purchased that vehicle. Now they're being attacked for it. And now the state senator, or the senator, the senior senator, I guess is fair enough to call him, would turn around and tell people asking about it, it has nothing to do with him or doesn't concern him. It's absolutely mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. So
yeah, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it, but it doesn't surprise me because now Senator Murphy, I texted him, and I said, where was your, I've seen him on TV for the last 3 weeks.
Sure.
I said, where were you for 4 years?
Well, remember, he was on the Senate
someone else
floor.
was running the White House.
Sean, don't forget, he was on the Senate floor saying that he didn't want to pass a resolution against violence against Teslas unless he added a resolution about January 6ers. So he didn't even, he could have written his own resolution. He could have sponsored his own resolution, but he wouldn't even sign one for Elon Musk.
You can't do that because then you would be responsible.
Exactly.
If it doesn't fly.
Exactly. 100% correct, sir. Thank you so much, Sean.
Have a great day, man.
You got it, man.
Keep
You
up the
too.
good work.
Thank you, sir. You will. So they were paid to show up, but not in Connecticut, says Tim in Hamden.
Well, first off, Reese, let's set some rules here. If you want me to actually answer things, you have to give me the space. I don't know who told you the bizarre crap that I wasn't at the rallies. I'm 5 minutes in Hamden, 5 minutes from the New Haven Green.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. There was about 500 people there to begin with. I didn't attend the one up at the state capitol, but you got to put down the moonshine, brother. Okay, actually listen to I don't know who's feeding you this crap and all that stuff. There were no arrests. There was, as far as I know, there were lots of people here in this area. Maybe it's a very blue state, but no one was paid here locally. You cannot prove that. You can make up stuff, all day long and all that. There were no arrests of people here across the country. There were probably 5 million people that turned out. Yeah, thousands, probably close to 1 million in Boston alone. And there were tons and tons of, I don't know whether you're watching Fox, Newsmax, whatever and stuff, but that's, you're pulling stuff out of the air that simply is not true. And it's very maddening. I'm still waiting for this idea that Murphy is trying to kill Trump. He wants violence. Same thing with Barack Obama. Give me a break. It's simply not true.
Can I respond now?
I mean, I know that. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank
please.
you. Okay, let's start with, you were at one rally, you said, sir?
So what are you concerned about me? Is someone told you I wasn't at the rallies?
Sir.
Did someone tell you that?
No, I asked you a question. Were you at one rally, sir?
Yes.
Thank you. You did not go to the rally in Hartford, sir?
No, I did not. I had a lot of friends who went there.
Okay.
Also, I had a lot of friends in Danbury.
Your
New
evidence,
London, in several places.
Your evidence that people at the Hartford rally were not paid is? Now wait, before you answer that, I need you to understand how Reese on the Radio operates. I work this like an attorney. I never ask a question I don't already know the answer to. So I'm going to get you and catch you in a lie. So I'll ask again. So I wait for you to respond to this so that you have all the information before it becomes a gotcha. No. Let me finish. Are you categorically, let me finish. Are you categorically certain that no one was paid at the Hartford rally? I ask again. Yes, sir, or no, sir?
I will, to my knowledge, there was no need to it. If you will recall, we had people, about 300 of them, about a month ago.
Sir.
Also there. You've got people.
I'm going to ask you again. You said there is no evidence that anyone was paid at the Hartford rally. I asked you again.
Yes.
Don't go off into the weeds.
I will say that. Please, if you can prove me that, I will be very, very shocked.
No, don't be shocked. Don't be shocked. This is what I want. And it's the only thing that I want. It's just one thing. I want you to lay down a wager with me. We've gone through this over and over again. Let's do one.
And you welch on every damn
No. It's a real good wager. If indeed, Tim.
You're going to have all sorts of people?
No. If we can prove, Tim, and again, this puts you on the spot, and I want you to take the wager. If I can prove that there were paid participants at the indivisible Hartford. Oh, sir. What do you think there? I'm going to tell you 3. I'm going to do better than that. I would never come that week.
Okay.
So again, if
Okay.
I can prove that there were paid participants at the Hartford rally at every major city, including Hartford, there were paid participants at that rally. That means that you are
There
not
were
allowed.
500 in New Haven. No one
You're
was
not
paid.
allowed. You are not allowed to come on any radio and talk politics anywhere, even on Facebook, Instagram, or even in mail for 6 months. Take the bet, sir.
No, I'm not going to take that because it's crap.
Why not take it?
It's absolute crap. I would love to see the evidence.
No, I don't want.
For the evidence
I'm going to
that you're
provide
gonna
the
say
evidence
that
anyway,
Trump was
Tim.
going to kill Trump.
Tim, I'll provide.
Where's that evidence?
Stop switching gears. I want to stay on one. Why don't you take the bet?
You are continuing this lie that the progressives and left are turning to violence.
You're switching
It
gears.
is not true.
I'll get to that in a second. Why are you switching gears? Let's stay on the paid people.
I'm not switching gears. This is the continuous, you are being paid to stir up the MAGA people, paint everybody and the left as some sort of bad guy wanting violence. That is your job. That is why you're getting paid by this station. Is that true or not?
No, it is false. So I'll say it again. Do you want to take the bet that I can prove that there were paid participants in large numbers at the Hartford event? Do you want to take the bet? That
No,
if
I do not.
Okay, why don't you want
No,
to?
I do not, because you can't prove it.
No. I'm telling you that
Look,
first of all,
if you can prove it, I will give $100 donation to your food bank friends up in Torrance.
is that it?
If you can prove
I
that,
want more than
okay?
that. I want more.
Okay. Well,
Okay, so if you don't want to take the bet, then I don't want to hear anything about for certain.
Well, just don't lie.
The reason
about
why
me.
you can't-
Don't lie about that I wasn't there.
Tim?
That I don't know anything about this. I'm involved with both Democrats, Greens, and all sorts of people. I know the landscape.
Can I
You're
finish
in
my
effing
Can I finish my
Texas,
sentence,
okay?
Tim? So I don't have to put
Yeah,
you on
go
hold so
ahead.
you don't say I censored you? Okay, listen. You began by starting off by saying that you were categorically certain that no one was paid at the Hartford protest. You stood on your ground. You stood on, as the kids say, sir, please do not interrupt me. I do not want to censor you. I need you to let me finish.
You are not.
I have been
telling the
very
truth.
gracious
you
to you,
saying that
Kim.
This was false.
Tim, I've been gracious. Please give me an opportunity to respond. I said again, you stood on all 10 toes and were certain there's no way that anybody was paid. And I gave you a wager. It's a simple wager. Doesn't
I
may I,
still
sir,
believe no
please
one
stop
was paid.
interrupting me. I ask again. The wager doesn't cost you anything other than your pride. It's an opportunity for you to put your real money where your mouth is, and that's your pride. That if I proved it, that you couldn't talk politics for 6 months, but you can't take the bet. You want to know why?
And
Because
if you can't
may
prove
I
it, then what
finish,
do I get?
please? The reason why you can't take the bet is because there's a part deep down inside you that you don't want the rest of everybody to reveal, but they have already seen it, that is scared to death that I'm going to be able to prove it, and you're going to have to own up. That's the reason why you can't take the bet. It's really simple.
I offered a $100 bet to a charity.
I gave you the
but won't
wager,
take
sir.
it.
I gave you the conditions
want
of the
to
wager.
censor me. You want to, it's the shut up, all that sort of stuff on a continuous
All I
basis.
wanted you to
If
do was to
somebody
really.
disagrees with you, then you have to pod them down. You have to say, you're a bully, Reese, okay? You can call me boyfriend, blah, blah, blah. Okay, whatever. This was not. Put down the moonshine.
Somebody
Be
is mad.
serious.
Listen, you got to listen to me. You have got to let go of your anger. You keep trying to beat me at this, and I told you, I promised
calling
you.
the kettle black.
I
Hello?
told you.
Hello.
Do you not listen to this show? I do not take our conversations.
You are the angriest person, and including Tom Shattuck, on this entire station.
Really?
You are absolutely crazy angry. You're screaming mad. If people saw you on the chat thing where your veins are sticking out,
Really?
everything else, you're mad, you're angry, you call me names, everybody's for violence and all that stuff. It's a shame. This station is a heritage station that had people left, right, and everybody actually converse. Now it's just a station
Okay.
of,
Let me say
purely
this
for
before
the
we go
MAGA
to a break, Tim. All right, I think I've given you enough. I've given you enough time, and I was very gracious, and I
Thank you
didn't
very
interrupt
much.
you. No, I appreciate you, but I think what the problem is that like I said, I know somebody when they're addicted. I've got enough ex-wives to know. I know when somebody is addicted to a show or a network, for that matter. This show gets a rise out of you, and I get it. It's okay. We like it. I personally like it. A lot of people complain to me. It's like, why do you give them? For me, I'm sorry. Folks, if I may say so, I'm going to put it this way. I have an addictive behavior, and sometimes Tim and Hamden is my drug. Sometimes I need that fix. Because I told you when I first got here, he's the left personified. He is. And I just wait for him. To do it. He could have taken a bet. Roland, would you have taken a bet if I gave you the bet? Would you have taken a bet that didn't cost you any money? You're a gambling guy, right?
Sure, why not?
Exactly. Why not take the bet? Jason Caterina is in the Weather Center. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center. Mark, are you a betting guy? Like if somebody told you I'll take a bet, like you had to, let's say, walk in wearing a shirt that says, I'm a big poopy head, like after losing a bet. Would you do something like that?
Yeah, in my younger days, yes. Now I'm
too grown for that.
I can't say I'm smarter, but yeah, less likely to do it now.
Has anyone
Back
ever
in the day though? I would have, yes.
So exactly, you would have taken a bet like that. I don't understand that. Yeah, I don't care. Take the bet.
No, I got a wife and a son, and
you have people to be embarrassed.
Yeah, I don't want to embarrass my family. They're already embarrassed enough. I'm shocked that my son will acknowledge me in public at this point. So, yeah, no, I would have been a lot more likely to do that.
He probably still makes you drop him off a block from school, doesn't he? All kids do that. Not yet?
Yeah, but it's probably going to get there pretty soon. You and Tim, things are really heating up between you guys. I can feel the tension building.
It's a love affair that won't go away, my friend.
It's like a pressure cooker right now. I can just feel it. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, the southbound side of I-91, we're seeing some slow traffic from exit 34 down to 32A and B, again down by exit 28. Northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound got slow traffic about a mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 291 through 84 okay. 2 westbound slowing exit 4 up to the 84 West merge. If you're traveling into Middletown 9 northbound, a little tight at the Aragoni. Westbound 84 Waterbury slowing 22 to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound sluggish 10 to 11 in Newtown. Southbound Parkway, you've got slow traffic. Looks like we have an accident now just south of exit 60 in Hamden. Delays are approaching that exit. 95 south slows 46 down to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, the rest of our Tuesday, mostly cloudy, windy, and chilly with a high of 43. Partly cloudy, breezy, cold tonight. The low dropping back to 28. Now, Wednesday, it'll be breezy, otherwise mostly sunny. Still chilly for us, the high only 46. Clear and colder Wednesday night with the low down to 24. Now, Thursday, some sun before turning cloudy. A touch milder for us with the high moving up to 52. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 4:30, Hartford temperature 40 degrees. Good afternoon, I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News. 2 men are dead, and New Haven police are investigating after they were found shot on a city street Monday night. And they say 49-year-old Clifford Capehart and 39-year-old Kieron Troutman were unresponsive when police arrived on scene at Winter and Goff Streets, and police are asking anyone with any information to give them a call. Man's dead after he was struck by a fleeing vehicle while riding a bike Monday night in Hartford. Nicholas Thompson, found on Main Street. Police say the offending vehicle hit another car, then became disabled before the suspects inside fled the scene. Plans for the parade for the national champion UConn women's basketball team all set. Steps off at 11 Saturday morning from the state capitol. Will wind up in front of the XL Center for a planned 11:30 victory rally. And stocks dropped after a second day of reversals. S&P fell by 1.6%, wiping out an earlier gain of 4%. That brought the index nearly 19% below its record set in February. The Dow was off 320 points, and the S&P lost 79 points. In baseball, tonight, after the 6 o'clock news, it's the Red Sox in Toronto. We'll join the pregame already in progress. First pitch at about 6:45. Yanks laid another egg in Detroit today, losing to the Tigers 5-0. Mets and Marlins underway now at Citi Field. NBA tonight, good one between the Knicks and Celtics at Madison Square Garden. The Nets will host New Orleans. And in the NHL, the Bruins visit the Devils, and the Isles are in Nashville. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
As men get older, our bodies change. We all know that. And often we just accept the changes as the way it is. But some of those changes, such as bad sleep patterns, low sex drive, brain fog, no energy, and reduced gains in the gym, could be due to low testosterone. And that is something you can change. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And even if you're in your 30s, if you're experiencing some or all of the symptoms I just noted, you very well may need low testosterone treatment. With our treatment protocols, if you're like most men, you'll be amazed at the change. You'll have more energy, improved mental clarity, your sleep will be better, so will your workouts, and you'll likely find your sex drive increases too. So give us a call today and make a change for the good. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. That's northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices across the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promedic restorative health practice.
Are you a small business owner? One minute. Cash flow? At Swiss
Yes, sir.
Funding, we have flexible funding options from $25,000 to $2 million. For the best rates and terms for your business, just one application to Swish Funding gives you access to our entire network of funders, with cash in your account in as little as 24 hours. To qualify, you must be in business for at least 1 year with monthly revenue of $50,000. Apply at swishradio.com and use code FAST. Swishradio.com, code FAST.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
It's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions. House.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Let's do it.
Do I look that stupid? Yes, you do. Stupid as can be.
This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
Imagine you're a news network. Imagine you're a news network that's competing with other news networks. And you haven't been able to pull off a #1 spot in well over 15 to 20 years. So what do you spend your ad dollars on? Well, obviously you spend those ad dollars on promoting the fact that you've been the #2 station for over 15 years. I can't believe it. Yeah. MSNBC actually is putting out, they have an ad now. They have an ad. I guess it's supposed to be promoting Morning Joke. You may know them as Morning Joe. Morning Joke, promoting Morning Joke as the #1 show in Washington. Again, the #1 most watched news show in the District of Columbia. Nowhere else. Nowhere else. And the fact that their broadcast actually gets more viewers than CNN. A place where the top-rated show gets less than 600,000 viewers. 600,000, okay? MSNBC is running ads that promote the fact that they are in a solid second place behind a network no one watches. I'm not kidding you. It is real. It is real. You can look up the ad. It's on YouTube. It says where American leaders start their day. And that's the worst part, is that promoting that they are the network or the show that politicians start their day. But if you watch the ad when they, are promoting the quote-unquote leaders, none of those people are in power. They featured in the article, in the piece, Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, and get this one, this is the funniest one, Jeff Goldberg of the Atlantic magazine is featured in the ad as one of the quote-unquote America's leaders. And the only reason why Jeff Goldberg is the guy from the Atlantic, because of the signal scandal that no one's talking about anymore. So it's really, really bad. I don't understand. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't promote second place. It's like Their ratings are abysmal on all the shows. There's maybe 2 shows that do well, and that's Rachel Maddow, and that's only 1 day a week. And I don't think there's anybody else who actually does that well. I think Lawrence O'Donnell gets a little bit of the drip off of Rachel Maddow's show. But I know Rachel Maddow's little sister, Chris Hayes, doesn't get any audience. They got rid of Joy Reid. So, I don't know. It's a ridiculous thing. But that's the headline. Morning show battle. MSNBC hits CNN ratings in new ad hyping morning show's influence in D.C. And the whole ad, that's all it says. D.C.'s #1 news show. No one's watching us in Sheboygan, but D.C. loves us. Let's go to Jason Catarinas with weather. He's got a report for you there, and Mark Christopher is in the BPS Traffic Center. This weather affecting the traffic out there, Mark Christopher, especially with the cold wind?
Yeah, I think I think everybody wants to move out of the Northeast and get into some more and more weather. But right now, I guess we're going to have to deal with it. If you're heading into Hartford, westbound side of 84, got delays approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound slows a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 91 southbound delays 33 to 32. Another bump down by exit 28. Northbound 91 moving while Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. 291 through 84 okay. 2 westbound slowing exit 4. I should say exit 1D up to the 84 west merge. Southbound Route 9 a little tight as you approach the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. Westbound 84 slowing in Waterbury, 22 to the Mixmaster. Eastbound side of 84 a little tight by 5 in Danbury. And again, 84 eastbound slowing by 11 in Newtown. Southbound Parkway, look out for an accident in Hamden between 61 and 60. The left lane shut down there, so stay to the right. Delays are approaching exit 61. Behind that, South 95 New Haven slowing 46 down to exit 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Yeah, that wind mainly clear, still breezy tonight. Cold with the temperature approaching the record low, but not quite getting there. The low down to 25, though. Breezy for us tomorrow as well. On Wednesday, mostly sunny, a chilly feeling day with the high 47. Some sun and turning cloudy Thursday, the high 52. A damp, raw day Friday with periods of rain, the high of 51. Occasional rain and drizzle still on Saturday. Damp, raw, and chilly with the high of 46. Right now, it's 42 in New Haven, 43 in New London, and 39 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
When you're trying to find quality candidates, all the searching, screening, and interviewing can become a job itself. You need Indeed, the all-in-one platform that makes it easy to interview, screen, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
At Ayala Home Services, we handle hundreds of well water problems a year. We believe hearing your options to get water flowing in your house shouldn't cost a thing. That's why we offer free estimates for wells with no water. Plus, get your water back as soon as the same day. Contact the trusted well professionals at ALO Home Services when you call, click, or text today and say hello, ALO, call for details. Licensed for safety. P1027768, D104014665, E1185643, S3308699, HIC 628926, SM3004646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
Trust and Will knows that we'll all have...
minute.
Well, how about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy. Like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code RADIO now for 20% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888 store near you or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
The self-proclaimed love child of Rush Limbaugh.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Let me get to these guys real quick because I've been here for a while, and I want to get to this Jasmine Crockett bit. Hello, Mike. What's going on? Mike's in Plainville. How we doing, buddy?
I'll tell you what. I wasn't going to call in, but then I heard you and Tim again.
I'm sorry. Hilarious. I just keep telling people he's a guilty pleasure of mine, man. I'm sorry.
Who says there's no violence. Hey, you know what? The news cycles for the last year or two, you know what it reminds me of? Remember the movie Dirty Harry, and the guy you had a jumper up on top of an apartment building?
Of course, yeah.
And Clint Eastwood got on the fire ladder and went up to retrieve the guy off the top of the building so it wouldn't fall. Remember what the guy said?
Nuh-uh.
This is what I say every time I watch the news at night. Jeez, I think I'm gonna puke. I'm telling you. But you know what? These politicians in Connecticut, you had a guy call earlier. Why waste your time calling these people and get that kind of behavior from them?
I know that
when they answer the phone.
I have to admit that was pretty astonishing for Bloom.
What did they say? What exactly did they say to this man that called?
They told him that it's not his problem. That there was this, this violence going on with Tesla drivers. And again, remember, this is Connecticut, a state that just last year was pushing a mandate for electric vehicles, pushing a mandate for electric charging stations, right? Again, a state that overwhelmingly buys Teslas, which again, I'm noticed that we haven't seen any stories about any firebombing. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I like the town I live in. I don't really care for Connecticut anymore because we have a bunch of suck-ups that support these Democrats, specifically Blumenthal, Murphy, and all the other ones. And then they got them using tactics from the 50s and 60s of marching in the St. Patrick's Day parade and waving and smiling. Nobody wants to see that. What the hell is that? These people, you got to be stupid to go to the parade and wave back to them.
They don't have any choice, sir. It's just who they are. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you. Let's go, Dave in Brantford, real quick. What's going on, sir?
Yeah, I don't like to talk. I've written a poem about Timmy. It's haiku, which is a 5, 7, and 5 syllable 3-line poem.
I love those.
I'll never be Fred, but you got to start somewhere. As always, Tim's spark falls to the ground and goes dark. Wet wood does not burn. That's my poem.
Wet wood does not burn. I love it.
I just want to say, I heard William Tong is suing the feds again, him and 20 other AGs.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, he's the boy who cried wolf. Does it even matter what he's suing them about? William Tong is suing them again.
No, and that's,
what
you know
a
what?
bunch of hot air.
You know what's the one thing that I don't seem to understand? This is how you know a politician has never owned a business. They don't understand the words oversaturation. Right? Because any businessman knows that is the death knell of any business. He is everywhere and nowhere at the same time. He just wants to be on the news cycle, and he thinks in some way that's promoting him like when he decides he's going to run for governor, that this oversaturation of him is not going to turn off the electorate.
Almost every day, his picture's in one newspaper or the other, much like Blumenthal was 20 years ago. Most dangerous place to be in Connecticut, between Dick and the camera. So we'll call A.G. Tong, we'll call him Wild Bill. I'm all done.
Thank you. Got it. You got it, sir. Okay, so we know that Jasmine Crockett is, to a lot of people in the Democrat Party, a firebrand. They love her brand of politics. She's radical, explosive. She's got a fine weave. They love her. But for the rest of us, we know exactly what she is. And that is a clown show. But when I saw this video, I said, that's it. I've got to make a commercial for this. I've got to do it. And I'm not going to I could do a video one. I may just do a video one. If I edit it right, it may come out real well. But I'm not really good at that political ad stuff for film, like a visual one. Radio, I've got an ear for it. In fact, I'm going to see if I can get my good friend and Emmy Award-winning producer Roland on this. Because he's got an ear for this as well. This is Jasmine Crockett speaking, obviously, to a congregation of African Americans. I think it's at a church. I don't think I even looked up where it was, but I think it's printed on the bottom of the video. And she's talking to them about illegal immigration. It's sad that she is in an echo chamber of people who believe what you are about to hear. But what is about to happen? And again, folks, when I tell you I'm into the vibration, something is going to happen between the immigrant class in this country and African Americans, and it is going to be bolstered, if not fostered, by what Jasmine Crockett says here. Listen.
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now. Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands. You're not. We done picking cotton. We are. You can't pay us enough to find a plantation.
So who's going to pick that cotton? Jasmine Crockett is out there telling people that we need immigration because we ain't going to pick that cotton. They are. Who going to pick that cotton, y'all? And you got these congregates. I know that's right. You don't understand the kind of animus you create by telling a group of people, even if it is true that's what they do. You can't say to a group of people that they are reduced to slave labor and have it sound like a great thing. You can't. You can't smooth that over. Now, I will tell you the truth that a lot of people won't tell you. The Hispanic and or Latin community, whatever it is that they're being called by the political left, they ain't too fond of brothers or sisters. Oh, yeah, on paper, there's a lot of coalescing. They'll tell you about that. The minority-majority nonsense, they tell you that all day. But on the real, there's no cohesion. Absolutely not. Mexicans, not that cool with the brothers. They're not. Somebody tell me otherwise. It's a very, very open secret. Go to the Los Angeles gang-related areas and ask them whether or not there is a cohesion between La Raza and the Crips or Bloods. And that answer would be an emphatic no. So when you got a prominent member of Congress who's on television and her videos are circulating virally on the internet and on television saying that those people are here to pick the cotton that blacks don't pick anymore, what do you think is going to happen? When you got a congregate, you can just put it on Jasmine Crockett and say, oh, Jasmine Crockett said that. But when you got a congregation in the back going, I know that's right. You telling, sister girl, you know what you talking about. What do you think you're going to get from that? You think you're going to get more people into your fold? Do you think the Hispanic community, especially illegals in this country, are going to turn around and say, hey, that sister girl gets us? Oh, no, it ain't. Oh, no, it ain't. Even if you believe it, you would never say it out loud. But people can't help themselves. Even American Hispanics who were in Congress, I played the videos for you here, who said, who's going to clean our toilets, baby? Who says that? Who would say that about a group of people if they weren't racist, bigoted Democrats? Who else would say that openly? And the worst part about it is that these so-called Democrats, you know, the ones who hear that language and go, heavens to Betsy, never stand up and condemn Jasmine. Never. They don't even bother. They stay silent. You ask them about it and you say, hey, how do you feel about that? They shrug their shoulders. Well, you know, she's not lying. Oh, really? She's not lying. I just want to hear it again. Like, remember, this is important to note. Always allow them to set the standards. Okay? If Donald Trump had said this, anybody who is a MAGA supporter or a Republican who voted for Donald Trump would stand to lose in this argument. This was Donald Trump is saying what they all believe, all 78 million. That's what they believe. So the same must apply. Jasmine Crockett is ranked amongst the top 5 Democrat leaders in their caucus. She is. She's number 2 behind Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a Hispanic. In fact, her and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez are supposed to be real cool people. They're supposed to be bonded at the hip. We could see both of them on the ticket. And what does she say?
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Yeah, I got to educate these people on what immigrants do in this country, yo. I've been trying to educate these people. Trying to hip them to the job, know what I'm saying?
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now.
Yeah, ain't none of y'all out there picking nothing. You know what I'm saying? Y'all too busy trying to get your Gucci on, son. Y'all too busy trying to get your Louis V on, son. Know what I'm saying? We trying to get the next Jordans. Trying to live proper, son.
Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands. You're not.
Half of them people ain't even there picking good people to run with. Half of those people couldn't pick. Never mind.
We done picking cotton. We are. You can't pay us enough to find a plantation.
Yeah. But them, you could pay them enough. Michael B. says she sounds like a hood rat from Menace to Society. I was going to go with don't be a menace to society while drinking your juice in the hood. It's, again, I just love the fact that she's out there. So I'm decided I'm going to do this ad. I'm going to put this ad together that's going to have all of these people together. Hank Johnson, Jasmine Crockett, Representative Garcia. I'm going to get all of them. Or even, don't forget, homegirl, what's her name? Kelly Osbourne. I'm going to get her in the ad, too. Who's going to clean your toilets, Donald Trump? I'm going to play all of them. Said this is what they think. This November, send them back to the fields. No. Sorry, that was wrong. I applaud myself. It was brilliant. I'm just saying. It's messed up, but I was just saying. Can I take this? I'll take this real quick. I got a minute and a half, 2 minutes and a half. Jefferson Marlboro, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, not bad. How you doing, man?
I'm all right, sir.
Hey, you sound pretty good today. It's a good
Thank
show.
you. I appreciate you, sir.
Yeah, I don't know if Mrs. Crockett and Tubbs, now you've wizened me to what that means. Miss Crockett and Tubbs knows, but they make machines that do that nowadays. So, you know.
I know, but you know what? She's talking to very low information voters about something that they already believe themselves. Like they have no idea that this audience knows that there's only 6% of that population who actually does any of that work. The average person that she communicates with thinks that's all they do.
Yeah, well, that's because they're, like you said, uneducated, and they just have this completely backwards racist view of. It's like they were born in the 1880s.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, and you know what?
Doesn't make any sense.
Jeff, I've had I had this conversation with an older black woman, and I said, "Are you really advocating for slavery replacements?" And she said, "What's wrong with that?" And I went, "What?" I couldn't believe it.
What's slavery replacement?
In that sense, black people don't do that work anymore. We need someone to do it, so let's allow them into the country to do that slave labor. That was her take.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So again, it just shows who these people are and what they think in their hearts. And for her to say that to that congregation, to say, we ain't picking cotton no more, and for those people to turn around and say, yeah, not one of them turned around and says, Jasmine, that sounds a little racist.
Well, as a lot of people, it's a comparable thing. A lot of people view some of these like South American countries and stuff like that as third world, but they're really not. They've got the internet, they've got the telephone, the infrastructure, everything.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Before I let you go,
they're really not.
What they have there, what they have in South America and even in Mexico or any one of these other countries, is that they've got a work ethic. A lot of those people are willing to do the dirty jobs that a lot of people in this country won't do. But that doesn't mean that they're all third world, but that's another story. Thank you, Jeff. I got to take a break. Let's get to our Weather Center with Jason Caterina and Mark Christophers in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, bud.
Hey, thank you very much, Reese. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon, everyone. If you're heading into downtown Hartford right now, things overall are looking pretty good out there. On the southbound side of 91, you've got delays from 33 down to 32 A and B, another bump down by exit 28. No problems northbound 91 as you move promptly through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing in East Hartford, approaching the Boakey Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound, sluggish stop and go. 44 up to the downtown tunnel. If you're traveling 291, 384, that looks good east of the river. 2 eastbound's okay, Glastonbury to Marlboro. Both sides of 9 a little heavy at the Aragodi Bridge. 9 northbound, some slow traffic getting by exit 32 in Berlin. Now, if you're traveling on the westbound side of 84, a little slow in Waterbury from 22 up to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound Danbury, slowing 3 to 5. Again, 9 to 10 in Newtown. If you're traveling southbound on the Wilbercross Parkway, look out for an accident down between 60 and 59. DOT has that reported in the left lane there. Also, look out for an accident in Plainville, 72 westbound between exit 4 and 5, and 95 South New Haven slows 46 down to exit 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC
Well,
weather.
the rest of our Tuesday afternoon, mostly cloudy, windy, and chilly with the high of 43. And tonight, partly cloudy, breezy, and cold with the low dropping down to 28. Still breezy Wednesday, otherwise mostly sunny. Another chilly day, though, with a high of 46. Clear and cold Wednesday night, the low down to 24. And Thursday, some sun before turning cloudy, though a touch milder with the high moving up to 52 on Thursday. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
It's 5 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Partly cloudy, 39 degrees, the temperature in downtown Hartford. The woman who shot up the lobby of Bristol Police Department headquarters in 2023 has been sentenced. Suzanne LaPrise gets 12 years behind bars. It was October of 2023 that the 53-year-old entered the facility armed with a 9mm pistol, fired 3 shots at the front desk and another 2 at an interior door. Police returned fire, but the glass was bulletproof. They swarmed the suspect and hit LaPrise with a taser when she placed the gun down. The public defender said LaPrise had no prior record, but that the Plainville resident was under stress and having financial problems. The shooting happened just a year after 2 Bristol police officers were gunned down in an ambush, and a third was seriously wounded. Police in New Haven on the lookout for a killer after 2 men were fatally shot Monday night at Winter and Goff Streets. New Haven Police Chief Carl Jacobson says it might have been a robbery or a drug deal gone bad. The victims now identified as 49-year-old Clifford Capehart of New Haven and 39-year-old Kieron Troutman of Hamden.
But we do know they were friends, and there were no weapons found on the scene, so they didn't kill each other to our knowledge at this point. So there is at least one shooter at large.
Jacobson says one of the victims, Capehart, was on probation for federal drug charges. At a White House signing event for an executive order concerning the coal industry, President Trump today touted his trade tariffs.
We've been
ripped off and abused by countries for many years with the tariff situation. They've used tariffs against us. We didn't use tariffs against them or in any way. I mean, we just didn't use them of any monumental proportion. And so we are doing it now.
New tariffs kick in at midnight. State lawmakers and civic leaders are on hand at the state capitol today, calling for those with law degrees to stand up for the rule of law. Part of a larger scale initiative by the American Bar Association. It says the judicial system is being undermined by the Trump administration. Among the objections, targeting judges with differing opinions from the administration and the freezing of funding from USAID. David McGuire is executive director of the Connecticut ACLU.
People's fundamental rights are being threatened every day, and lawyers and judges are being both condemned, questioned, and their speech is being chilled. This is not okay. We are calling on legislators, all legislators in this building, to stand up and take decisive action.
McGuire says the country's at a crossroads and called on elected officials to uphold the Constitution. In Kentucky, Governor Andy Beshear is leading efforts to recover from major flooding.
Here in Frankfort, the water is crested and is slowly starting to recede. We certainly hope by the end of tomorrow, most people will be able to get back in their homes.
16 are reported dead, including a 9-year-old boy swept away by floodwaters in Frankfort. Governor Lamont says the parade in Hartford is set for the national champion UConn women's basketball team. It's this Saturday. WTIC's Dave Mager spoke to the event's chief planner.
These championship parades are becoming old hat for Chip McCabe, events director at the Hartford Business Improvement District.
My third in a row, yeah. It is becoming an annual thing, definitely.
So some prep work was done before final arrangements are made this week.
I'd be the worst event planner in the world if I said that I wasn't planning at least some things in advance.
And he only had to reach back to the last 2 years for the route from the Capitol to Trinity Street to Jewel and Trumbull Streets.
Number one, we love how it looks. You know, we get to pass right along Bushnell Park and up Trumbull Street. Having the rally in front of the XL Center is always awesome.
The parade steps off at 11 a.m. Saturday. The rally starts at about 11:30. Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News.
Down day again for the markets on Wall Street. Dow lost 320 points. NASDAQ shed 335. S&P was down 79. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
1 minute.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
So there's an interesting story that's brewing, and people are wondering when it's going to come out. I'm waiting for it to come out. It was during the White House press briefing today that Caroline Leavitt said that there was going to be a huge DOGE announcement for something that they found. I think President Trump mentioned it last Thursday. We've been waiting with bated breath, but they said that they're going to go over a couple of things and they're going to release it. So we'll keep an eye on that. The minute that we know, we'll talk about it. We'll also get to your phone calls. In this hour, last but not least caller of the day is going to win a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe, located in South Windsor, Manchester, and Vernon. Also, check out BetweenRoundsBagels.com. Find out all of their 5 locations and buy a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. $1 from that purchase goes to Friendly Hands Food Bank for the Peanut Butter and Jelly Time month-long charity giveaway. So we appreciate you doing what you can. I just spoke to Jerry and Karen yesterday of between rounds and friendly hands, respectively. So take part in that. Also, when we get back, Social Security numbers. Listen to what this report says coming up after the break. You might remember I had a discussion with one of these activists that are fighting for illegals. You may even remember my conversation with Justin Elliker. And the one point that both of those men brought up were that these illegals in the state, if not the country, were taxpayers. I made the point that most of these tax payments, if you will, were for goods and services. If they went shopping, if they went to restaurants, they paid taxes on it. They are not taxpayers. Well, a new story that just came out, Stuart Varney did it, says that something else is afoot. And no one's asking this question, but I am. I want you to listen to it when we get back. And it begs the question. If it's true, maybe now we can find out if indeed these illegals are legitimate taxpayers. Stick around for that. All right? Yeah, that's about it. And then we'll talk about some more. 860-522-WTIC. Jason Caterina's got your weather. It's a little windy out there. And Mark Christopher's at the BPS Traffic Center, which I'm sure is affecting the traffic as well. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon, everyone. And this traffic report is being brought to you by Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. And if you are traveling on the westbound side of 72 in Plainville, we had an accident between exit 4 and 5 in the right lane, but I'm looking at the camera shot right now. It looks like both lanes are moving again, so looks like that's out of the way, but you'll see delays coming off of 84 onto 72 westbound. If you're traveling westbound 84, you've got delays in East Hartford approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 46 Sisson Avenue. 84 eastbound's tied up about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue down to the Bulkley Bridge. Southbound 91 delays 33 down to 32 A and B. Looks good northbound 91 Cromwell up into Windsor. Westbound on Route 2 a little slow as you merge with 84 West. Middletown, 9 southbound's a little slow as you approach the Aragoni Bridge. 9 northbound, some slow traffic, 32 in Berlin up to 34 in New Britain. If you're heading into Waterbury, westbound 84, sluggish traffic, 23 into the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound, Danbury, tight 3 to 5. 84 eastbound in Newtown, you got slow traffic from 10 up to 11. Southbound Parkway still dealing with a crash just south of exit 60 in Hamden, delays back to 62. Behind that, 95 South New Haven, slowing 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic got you down? Turn that frown upside down at Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. They offer fast, efficient dental implant procedures complete in a single visit, open 7 days a week for your convenience. Don't wait. Visit Columbia Dental Center. I'm sorry, try that again. Don't wait. Visit ColumbiaImplantCenter.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Mainly clear, breezy, and cold tonight. Approaching the record low, but not quite getting there. The low down to 25. It'll be breezy tomorrow, mostly sunny and chilly with the high only 47. Some sun and turning cloudy Thursday, the high 52. Damp and raw Friday with periods of rain, the high of 51. Then chilly with occasional rain and drizzle Saturday, the high only 46. Right now, it's 41 in New London, 38 in Mansfield, and 39 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
My name is Joanne. I'm 75 years old, and I have lost 35 pounds on Awaken 180 weight loss. I was pre-diabetic. I was ready to go on cholesterol medication. My blood pressure was up even on medication. Now I have no need for cholesterol medication. My blood sugar is fine, and I actually am cutting down on my blood pressure medicine. I have knee replacements and hip replacements, and I had difficulty walking, and now I can walk without any problem. I feel lighter. I feel more energetic. It is a lifestyle that will help you to lose weight without medication.
Thanks, Joan. Tom Shattuck here. Stories like Joan's are the reason I continue to share the Awaken 180 message. The results speak for themselves, and I'm confident you'll have the same success if you let them show you how. Do what Joan did, what I did, and what over 24,000 others have done, and choose the solution for weight loss. It's easy. Get them online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription. subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Whether you're shaping up a small yard or tackling.
All right, and 10.
Steel, walk-behind, zero-turn, and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow. Available at participating dealers.
Reese on the Radio is getting ready to drop some knowledge on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Drop it. We're back. News Talk 1080 WTIC. W. Let me play this audio for you. So, like I said before, we had two men on here talking about immigration. They, of course, were talking about it from the left. One was an advocate. I can't remember his name. This is how horrible that conversation was. But he ended up hanging up on us. And that's fine. And I spoke to Justin Elliker, mayor of New Haven, about this as well. He didn't seem to care about the illegals. Said that, they said the whole adage, they're taxpayers. And they know damn well that they're not. They don't pay taxes. They buy food, they pay a tax on it. Go to a restaurant, they pay a tax on it. Some of them tip. I'm sure they all tip. But Stuart Varney had this report on Fox Business today, and I want to play it for you. And nothing against Stuart Varney and nothing against anybody for that matter. I think the story in and of itself is outrageous. But as soon as I heard the story, I went right to the tax thing. Listen closely. Tell me if you thought about it too.
DOJ has found that immigration gave a work authorization document to illegals just 5 months after they filed for asylum. That document allowed them to work while they waited to hear whether their asylum request had been accepted or denied. So they could work as an illegal, knowing it would take years before their case was heard. The Immigration Department mailed them a Social Security number. No interview, no proof of identity. Just put it in the mail. Here's your number. In 2021, DOJ says 270,000 new aliens were issued Social Security numbers, 590,000 in 2022, 964,000 in 2023, and 2.1 million in 24, right before Biden left office.
Now, that means that if you look at those numbers, we are looking at well over 3 million people, close to 4 million, who got Social Security numbers.
DOJ also discovered that 1.3 million aliens are now receiving Medicaid. Millions received driver's licenses, some registered to vote, and DOJ says some actually did vote. Try and square that against Democrat claims that Musk is destroying Social Security and cutting Medicaid. He's not destroying, he's weeding out people who don't qualify.
Now, the editorial aside, the point is that now people like Justin Elliker and that other bozo that was on here, they got a talking point. Now they can say, see, Reese, they got Social Security numbers. Which begs me to ask, you know what? You're right, Mayor Elliker. They do have Social Security numbers. So now we should be able to find out how many of them paid taxes. How many of them were actually a part of the W-2 system? How many of them were on the up and up? You know what? They are law-abiding citizens, Justin, aren't they? Aren't they law-abiding citizens who are just trying to make their way into the country? Well, they're given Social Security numbers. We should be able to find that data right now. In fact, you should be demanding it so you can prove to the rest of us how honest they are. No one even thought about that. Wait a minute, they got Social Security numbers? Fine. That's close to 4 million people that we can now track. They should be able to say, see, these people are honest. But they won't. Here's why. They never wanted us to know they were issuing Social Security cards for those folks. They were never going to tell us that they were issuing driver's licenses or registrations to vote. They never wanted us to know that. That's what the whole hubbub was about. The whole thing was crazy. So I would love to know, what's the deal? Right now, every person on the left would say, yes, see, they were paying taxes, and they should demand the data that proves it. Shut the rest of us up. Tell us that they're law-abiding, that they're tax-paying citizens now. You made sure of it. Of course, I know they won't, but I'm just saying. Let's go to Adam in East Hartford. Hey, Adam. Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Tim, yesterday, I normally don't criticize him because I can sometimes understand some of his complaints when Trump goes a little bit overboard, but he sounded like a troll yesterday because his exact same monologue was the same with Shattuck.
I did hear about that, and I was a little disappointed. Can I tell you why? Nothing against Shattuck, and it's not nothing against. Of course, nothing against Shattuck. That's my partner. You know what I'm saying? That's my buddy. But what I was like, please do not regurgitate a conversation that you had with him. He would hate it if it was the other way around. It was like if somebody had told him, oh, you said that same thing on Reese's show. I'm just like, dude, you didn't really sit around here and actually try to drum up a conversation for the show. Just keep it honest. If you have something you want to discuss with Tom, do that. If you got something you want to beef with me, beef with that. But I understood he called there because he wanted to congratulate a lot of these paid protesters, you know, and I thought that was disingenuous at best. But, you know, whatever. You get what you get.
Yeah, unbelievable. But, man, I just hope the stock market settles down in the next few weeks. We have no idea. It can go either way, right?
Yeah, I would, like I said, this is one of those things where, you know, unless you're losing everything, which, again, I seriously doubt, I would just wait it out. This is one of those things where people are responding instead of acting. In fact, I've got some audio I'm going to play tomorrow of that that tells it. I mean, Warren Buffett is probably going to be the perfect example of this, but I'll play that tomorrow. I thought about playing it today, but I doubt it. I doubt it at best. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate it. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you got it, buddy. Let's go to White Mike is in Florida. What's up, buddy?
Oh, man. So I'm kind of losing faith in the human race a little bit.
Why? Why now?
I'm so angry. I'm just trying to hold it in. Well, you know how Facebook's algorithm works. When you check out a news story, you tend to get links to something of the same subject, right?
Yes, very simple.
Well,
yeah, I noticed that myself.
My timeline has been inundated with stories about Austin Metcalf. You know,
okay,
that poor man who got stabbed to death down in Texas. And buddy, how can I put it? If you are a white person who is Gen Z and you believe that everything's equal and these people don't hate you, you're insane. The anti-racist movement has not worked. It has only served to make black people more racist.
I know what you're talking about there. And again, I think Jasmine Crockett was a perfect example of that. You're 100% right. And this capitulation, if you will, to people in the, I will say the radical left faction, as it were, the capitulation to them is almost astonishing. To give you an example, did you hear some of the thing that was written in Aiden's manifesto? This is the shooter at the Covenant School in Tennessee.
Oh, the she.
Yes. Now, have you heard? Okay, so apparently Megyn Kelly was given, Kash Patel gave her exclusive, I guess, writings from the shooter. And it had spanned,
I heard something about it.
It had spanned over 2 years. Well, to paraphrase, in fact, if you're interested in going to Megyn Kelly's show from, I think it's yesterday on her YouTube page, it's somewhere in the beginning, I would say like the first 30 minutes of the show. But anyway, she reads in detail what this shooter was writing. The ones that caught me were the fact that this so-called hatred of her own gender, right? She could not stand the fact that she was born a woman. Then it escalates to hating her whiteness. And then she makes one claim in her manifesto or her diary entries. And this was the one that I thought was wild beyond anything I'd ever heard. She goes, "Black people are so cool and white people suck. Blacks should rule everything." And I heard that again. This is somebody in their 20s. This is not a teenager. This is somebody in their mid-20s writing that. And I'm saying to myself, who has that kind of self-hatred? The fact that, and again, she talks about killing herself and hating the fact that she's a girl and hating the fact that she is white. Who taught people that?
Dude, I don't know. I blame the media a lot, but I'm telling you, man, it's lost. Okay, we can. And if I was, look, I'm Gen X, so we kind of understood racism, and we had kind of a cool racism. You know, like I wasn't gonna outright hate you, but you know, I kind of, no offense, not you, of course.
Yeah.
But you look at black people with suspicion because you know this one might not be a tame one. You know what I mean? this might be a wild.
Yeah, this right. Yeah, we grew up in the era of wilding. Yes, exactly. You're 100% right. And it was a normal thing.
You know, these Gen Zs and Gen Alphas have been told their entire lives, and their parents were told, there's nothing worse than being in the world than being a racist.
Yeah,
like, that's the unpardonable sin.
Right.
But racism is rampant among black people toward white people. They're celebrating this boy being killed online. They are celebrating.
It is. It's again, and I know what it's about, though. The scary part about that is, as I told you before when you first mentioned this on the show, this sort of trying to legitimize his reasoning not even being there, you know, but again, it's not like we haven't seen this before. Like George Floyd he was a patron saint of leftism. Everything about him as an individual was completely discarded. It was like any other, for you to say anything disheartening about George Floyd, you were condemned to death. And that's the same thing that's happening with this kid.
Well, you know, with this Carmelo with a K,
yeah.
Nobody wants to say it, but I know exactly what happened. I 100% know exactly how it went down. He went over there and he started, as Eddie Murphy said, Bill Cosby said, filth, floor and filth, and F my big black stuff. And he was showing his ass to these people because that's what he was doing. He was trying to get into a fight. And there were probably little girls there, and this big Christian with a good heart went over and was like, I'm not going to allow this to happen in front of these girls. And he got stabbed by a wild Negro, not a tame one.
That's what you think? Does it have to be that? Do you understand the volatility in that statement? Here's what I believe happened.
Do you understand how little I care?
Yeah, I know how much you care. I know how much you care. Listen to what I'm telling you. That kid, and I've seen a couple of these photos that people are like trying to either denounce or trying to reason, you know, saying that the gun that he's holding and playing with the gang signs is an air rifle or something like that. But again, ignoring the sentiment entirely, it doesn't matter whether or not he was holding up a real gun or an air pistol or an air rifle. That's not the point. Yeah. The point was he was sending a message on purpose, and that was he had, or at least adhered to a violent tendency, right? A tendency that was rooted in violence, bravado, and a lot of ghettoism that he was in essence advocating for and promoting. And they're trying to parse it by saying, well, the gun wasn't real, negates everything that's in that photo.
Well, dude, my favorite part is Oh, yes. The two brothers were bullying him, and they'd never met him before.
Right.
And they jumped him. Yet he's unmarked. He's 5'9", 150 pounds.
Mhm.
The kid who's dead was 6'2", 230. And do you think, honestly, by the way, that a kid who's a 4.0 student and a churchgoer with colleges looking at him for both academics and athletics is going to throw it away?
No.
By going to start a fight with
Exactly.
Carmelo with and then somebody put up a fake photo. They did the thing where they changed the name to look like the name but put a number instead of a letter. Somebody put up an Austin Metcalf with a 3 instead of an E, a picture of somebody with a Glock and an AR on his lap saying, "I hope these monkeys come to the track meet today."
And then tried to put that on the kid?
Yeah, they're putting it out there, and of course it ran wild through Black Facebook. Jamarcus and Shaquisha are like, "Look at this, he's a racist murderer." And it's like, no, he was literally a P word. This kid was a P word. He should have walked up and cracked that dude right in the mouth as soon as he did the first vile.
I don't think. Look, I know that this has angered you, but that's another story. I'll get into that in another time with you. I got to get to the break. Thank you, boss man. Mike is really, really taking this one personal. That's probably because, there's other reasons behind that. But anyway, we'll get to some other stuff. I want to finish on this immigrant story and the Social Security card. Let's get to weather with Jason Caterina and Mark Christophers in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, bud.
Hey, thank you very much, Reese. Good afternoon. If you're heading into Hartford right now, delays 91 southbound approaching 33 to 32 A and B. Real good ride 91 northbound Cromwell up into Windsor. If you're westbound 84, you've got delays approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush 84 eastbound slowing about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue to the Bulkley. 291 through 84 looking real good. 2 westbound, a little tight as you merge with 84 west in East Hartford. Good ride through Middletown 90 in the Aragoni Bridge. Westbound 84, some slow traffic in Waterbury 25A up to the Mixmaster 84 eastbound slowing by 18 in Waterbury. 84 eastbound in Danbury tight 3 to 5. Again, 84 eastbound slowing from 10 to 11 in Newtown. Southbound on the Parkway, you'll see some slow traffic now from exit 61 down into the West Rock Tunnel on the southbound side of the Parkway. Southbound 91 New Haven slowing from exit 6 into toward the 95 interchange, and 95 southbound New Haven tight 46 to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, the rest of our Tuesday, mostly cloudy, windy, and chilly with a high of 43. Partly cloudy, breezy, cold tonight, the low dropping back to 28. Now Wednesday, it'll be breezy, otherwise mostly sunny, still chilly for us, the high only 46. Clear and colder Wednesday night with the low down to 24. Now Thursday, some sun before turning cloudy, a touch milder for us with the high moving up to 52. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest. And now, a WTIC News Update.
38 degrees, partly sunny skies in Hartford. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. A dozen years in prison for the Plainville woman who shot up Bristol Police Department headquarters lobby nearly 2 years ago. Suzanne LaPrise pleaded guilty to assault in February. It was October of 2023 that she entered Bristol PD headquarters armed with a pistol. The 5 shots she fired didn't hit anyone, nor did the 2 police discharged in return. That incident happened about a year after 2 Bristol officers were shot and killed in the line of duty, and a third was seriously wounded. New Haven Police Chief Carl Jacobson provided an update this afternoon on a double homicide that occurred in the city last night. 2 men, 49-year-old Clifford Capehart and 39-year-old Kieron Troutman, were found shot in the area of Winter and Goff Streets. One died at the scene, the other at an area hospital. Anyone with any information being asked to contact New Haven Police. Man dead after he was struck by a vehicle in Hartford while riding a bike Monday night. That investigation ongoing. They say 42-year-old Nicholas Thompson was found on Main Street, later pronounced dead at a local hospital. Detectives say the car that hit Thompson took off, struck another vehicle, and then became disabled before those inside fled on foot. Waterbury police investigating following the discovery of a bullet at a local school. The find was reported on Friday at Gilmartin Elementary on Spring Lake Road. The bullet was turned over to responding officers who conducted a thorough search, they say, and determined there was no threat. Parade for the national champion UConn women's basketball team is set, and the festivities get underway Saturday morning at 11 from the state capitol. The parade will wind its way north on Trinity, head right on Jewel, and then wind up on Trumbull, culminated with a rally outside the XL Center. We got a map of the whole thing on our website at WTIC.com. And stocks dropped following another reversal today. S&P dropped 1.6% after wiping out an earlier gain of 4.1%. That brought the index nearly 19% below its record high set in February. Dow lost 320 points, and the NASDAQ was down 335. Baseball action this evening, actually in about a half an hour or so. We'll join the pregame in progress following the 6 o'clock news ahead of the Red Sox and Toronto. First pitch about 6:45. Yanks have dropped 3 straight. They lost to the Tigers at frigid Detroit this afternoon, 5-0. The Mets and the Marlins are meeting at Citi Field. Good one in the NBA tonight between the Knicks and the Celtics at Madison Square Garden. The Nets are home to New Orleans. In the NHL, the Bruins face the Devils, and the Isles skate in Nashville. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, where our erectile dysfunction treatments are shown to be effective in well over 90% of cases. Here is one of our patients, Bill, sharing his experience on our ED treatments.
My name's Bill, and I'm a patient at Northeast Men's Health. I suffered with ED for a couple of years, and I wasn't satisfied with my intimate life with my wife. If you have a problem, find a solution. If you have ED, seek out Northeast Men's Health. Go there. You've got nothing to lose. I am having good sex, but it's not just about the sex. Colors are brighter. My mood was brighter. I had more passion for everything in my life, not just sex, everything. I'm going to Northeast Men's Health. Go there, give it a try, meet the people there. They'll take care of you.
Thanks, Bill. It's true. If you're like most men, we'll help you get your sex life back. For just $99, you'll get a medical consult, blood work, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call today, 800-930-5956, or go to northeastmenshealth.com. That's northeastmenshealth.com.
I had the
woman.
You were in a car
Got it.
crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Will new tariffs impact small businesses? Rising costs and economic uncertainty can hurt your bottom line. But with Swish Funding, your business can stay strong. We offer fast, flexible funding solutions from $10,000 to $2 million for working capital, cash flow, and more, and as little as 24 hours with no collateral needed. If your business earns at least $50,000 and been around for over a year, you could qualify today. Go to swishradio.com and use code FAST. swishradio.com, code FAST.
It's our birthday. WTIC has been on the air for 100 years, and we don't look a day over 98.
Reese on the Radio, we are back. I'm going to get to your phone calls in a bit, so stick around. If you have not had an opportunity to be our last but not least caller of the day, give us a call within the next break after I go through all of these folks that are on hold and see if you can win your chance to win a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe. Also, go to BetweenRoundsBagels.com and get yourself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, a Reese's peanut butter and jelly sandwich that's all month long, and you'll donate $1 to our friends at the Friendly Hands Food Bank. Looking over weird numbers, I've always hated math growing up. Can't stand it. And if you give me a percentage of a weird number, I don't know who the people are, but if you are, please let me know. Contact me. If you're the type of person that can do that kind of stuff at the top of your head. So if I said to you, what is 7.7% of 343,600? I don't know. I don't know how people do that, but I actually know someone. I know one guy, he used to be a friend of mine, who can do that. Like he can, in a heartbeat. He was brilliant with numbers. And I don't know anybody who can do that or how they can do it. It's just, I know some people who can instantaneous can get those numbers and do them in their head, it's scary. It's just scary. By the way, that number is 26,457. Just for giggles. I actually looked it up. It's a weird thing that people do that stuff with numbers. I'm not a big numbers guy. How about you, Roland? Not a big numbers guy? Like, do you have to do percentages and stuff like that?
Nah, I am a numbers guy.
You are a numbers guy? Like how? Like when you say numbers, I mean, are you talking just like dollars in numbers, or do you like play the odds, like that kind of deal?
I play the odds when I'm betting.
Okay, when you're betting. So is there a lot of mathematics involved in that, or is there something else?
Yeah, but I don't get too involved in all the analytics. I don't dive like crazy deep like some people.
Yeah, I know some people who are really deep into that stuff, and I can't. It's mind-numbing to me. It's like I get nervous, and I guess, I don't know, I would have never been, like, I couldn't have been a scientist. I remember I wanted to be an architect when I was a kid, and somebody said, in order to do that, you have to learn math. And I went, oh, hell, what the hell with that? No. I'm still trying to figure out how algebra plays a role in my daily life. No one's been able to figure that out, by the way. Let's get another check on the weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Any math in your work at all, Mark Christopher? Do you ever have to, do you have to rely on math in any way? I know that Jason Caterinas does clearly in weather. There's some,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Degrees and all that other stuff. But do you ever find yourself having to use math in any part of your daily life outside of work?
Well, I look at the VU meters from time to time, make sure I'm in the, by 0, 100%, not going into the red. And I have to be able to tell time. But, yeah, no, other than that.
What the heck is the VU meter? You can't just say that.
That's the, that's
volume?
How loud you're talking. Yeah, your volume that you're talking on the air.
Gotcha.
That tells you that if you're overmodulating. You don't want to overmodulate.
Okay.
So
I just see if it's in time. I looked at it and just say, hey, is it in the red? That's bad.
Yeah, you don't want to be in the red. You don't want to be in the red. That's distortion. I have to tell time. I have to know the root numbers. But yeah, no, I really don't use any math in my line of work.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, so you almost feel like, do you feel like it was a wasted class or subject in school?
I guess it opens you up to new experiences. I knew I wanted to do radio when I was 13, so
yeah, like me,
my
15.
mind sort of stopped. My imagination sort of stopped at 13.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, I can add, subtract, multiply, and divide. I'm very good at those 4 things. You start throwing, algebra or coefficients or pi, forget about it. I'm lost. So
yeah, me too. Because I don't even know those words you just said.
That's good. Hey, if you're heading into downtown Hartford right now, 84 eastbound, you got delays about a half mile before 46th Avenue to the Bulkley. Westbound 84 tied up. East Hartford approaching the Bulkley out to exit 47. Sigourney, southbound 91 delays 33 down to 32 A and B. If you're northbound 91, that looks good. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. 291, 384, no issues. 2 eastbound's okay into Glastonbury. Quiet Middletown. 84 westbound in Cheshire, a little slow traffic from 26 to 25A, and again 22 up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. 84 eastbound Danbury slowing 3 to 5. 84 eastbound a little tight again by exit 11 in Newtown. Southbound Parkway, you've got slow traffic.
Happy birthday, Richard.
60 into the West Rock Tunnel. 91 southbound in New Haven slows 8 down in toward the 95 interchange. 95 southbound delays 46 to 43 New Haven into West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Dude, even I don't use the math that I had to take in college, like calculus and all kinds of stuff like that. So there's that. But yeah, mainly clear tonight, breezy and cold. Temperature approaching the record, not quite getting there, but the low down to 25. A breezy day for us tomorrow. Otherwise, mostly sunny. Chilly, the high 47. Clear to partly cloudy, cold for tomorrow night, the low down to 26. Some sun, then turning cloudy on Thursday, the high 52. Periods of rain, a damper on chilly feeling day Friday with the high 51. Overcast Friday night, late night rain, some of it heavy. That leads into occasional rain and drizzle on Saturday. A chilly, damp, and raw day with the high only 46 on Saturday. Right now, we're looking at 40 in Meriden, 35 in Waterbury, 38 in Danbury, 39 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Whether you're shaping up a small yard or tackling serious acreage, Steel walk-behind zero-turn and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow. Available at participating dealers.
Join us this Sunday for Tumulo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father and son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch the replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumulo Financial Retirement Planning with Integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
So, you want to buy a house. You could go online, do your research, find the dream listing, go see it, and get catfished. Back to the drawing board. More scheduling, more viewings, more. This doesn't even look like the photos. You could finally find one that does match the photos. Then comes the offer. Stress rush? Yep, make that 3. And here's the paperwork. Yep, never-ending paperwork. It's a lot. But you don't have to do it alone. Because there's an agent who's a realtor here to guide and help protect you as you find the home that's right for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
Good morning, Doctor. Hi, Doctor.
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
At California, we know that when you haven't found love, it feels like everyone else has. Every movie has a love interest. Every song is a love song. Where are all the songs about cats? Or the joy of early bedtime? And of course, the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to help you find the one. We connect you with the very best. In fact, 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us don't make the grade. That's why we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Janine left
right
already?
Now,
Yeah, in 10, yeah, she's been gone.
just $20. So you could be feeling all lovey-dovey real soon. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, let's run through these phones real quick because they've been holding out for a while. Let me go here to, let's go. Is he first there? Let's go to Mike. Mike is on the line. How we doing, Mike?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right, sir. What do you got for me?
Just to go over the you were talking about the taxes that the illegal aliens pay and stuff like that.
Yeah, with the Social Security cards.
Yeah, but they do pay into it. Just so you know, because I run a business and I have to take money out of their check for Social Security for everything that every normal person gets taken out of.
Right. So, yeah, you're taking taxes. Right. So if they provide you now, I don't want you to put yourself on blast here. You're certain that the people who are working, I don't want to put, don't self-indict. So you're telling me that the people who, in essence, have have Social Security cards who work, you take their, you take part of their income and pay them into taxes. But my question is whether or not they file taxes in April.
Never do.
Never do.
They never. That's why the government likes that, because they never do. So the government gets that money, and
they never have to give them a refund.
Exactly.
It's a good
That's
point.
Another reason why they like. That's another reason why they like the. I hate calling them illegals, but my friends, I call them my friends because they're my friends. That's why they want them in the country, because they have to pay. Even if it's a.
It's a slush fund. In essence, what you're saying is, first of all, they're getting a Social Security number. If they are working, that money goes, of course, right back. They take the taxes out, so in essence, they get their chunk. They're not filing taxes, so they never get a refund. That money stays in the coffers of the government. But here's my other question: do they get?
And they'll never collect Social Security either.
They'll never collect. But they are getting things like Medicaid as well. But I don't know if the two are coexisting in that space. Like, I don't.
That I don't know.
Yeah, so they say some people who have Social Security cards are also receiving Medicaid. So that's another part of that is they have some people, and they said I think they're counting at least 1.3 million that are getting Social Security. I mean, have a Social Security card, Medicaid, and are also have driver's licenses as well, and have voted and have voted.
They all have driver's licenses. I don't know if they voted. I don't know if they vote or not. They all have driver's license, which they have to pay into the system for that.
Right.
But my thing is, it's what the Democrats want. They want these guys in here so they don't have to pay them back.
Yeah, but the other part about that is look, here's the scary part. Technically, if they're doing all of this at the tune of which we saw for 4 years, like close to 4 million, none of these people in this group from this article, in essence, you can't call them undocumented. They're fully documented. They have a Social Security card, a driver's license.
Well, you're exactly right. And to be honest with you, these guys are the best guys that work for me, and I need them to.
I ain't gonna look. I won't deny they have a work ethic, bar none, man. That much I give it, and I understand the reason for it. I mean, let's be honest. They all can't be as great as some of the people who work for you, but nonetheless, there's something afoot, and they're not even getting the opportunity. They're not properly being vetted. With that notwithstanding, I'm not saying that every person who comes in has got a nefarious bone in their body. However, they are cheating the system from people who get in legitimately. But I get your point. Nonetheless,
I agree with you. I agree with you. And some of us have been in for a long time, and they have a chance to get vetted and do the right thing, but they choose not to. We had a guy to come in this year, and he got vetted. In 1 year, he got vetted, and he's fine. He's an American citizen now.
Wow.
And I don't know why these other guys don't want to do that, but it's just maybe it's legal, maybe it's they don't trust the system. I don't know what it is, but
yeah, probably because they're concerned about either a background or the possibility of not getting it. So yeah, there's tons of reason in that.
If they try to get vetted, they're going to be sent back to where they came from.
Right.
So,
yeah, there's always that risk. I totally get the fear. Get the fear. Thank you, boss. Much appreciated. Let's go to Aaron in Goshen. Hey, Aaron.
Oh, hey, how you doing, Reese?
Pretty good, sir.
So, I don't know if you find this quite strange like I do, but
Mm-hmm.
isn't it strange that these people that had no idea how to pay back their student loans and understand how, money works are all of a sudden geniuses when it comes to tariffs, right? Like, they know what's going to happen to the economy, and this is the horrible thing that's going to happen in this country, and we're all doomed. Here's the bottom line. In order to make an omelet, which tastes fantastic, you got to break some eggs.
Hear me
in
out
order, in order to heal from a wound, you must rip the Band-Aid off, which hurts.
Hear me out for a second, Aaron.
In order to build a house, you must take it down to the foundation. And if the foundation's screwed up, well, you got to rip that out too and start all over.
Hear me out,
America right now.
Aaron, listen to me real quick. I'm going to play this clip. If you get back to listen to watching me online, I want you to go back to this point. It's 49 minutes after the hour. I want you to go back to actually watch the video because I know you can't watch it now. There's a guy by the name of Drew Greenblatt, who's the CEO of Martin Steel, and I think it's in New Jersey. He was on with Jake Tapper at CNN. I showed this video to my wife, and she looked at it. She goes, "Why does Jake Tapper look so confused?" And the reason why is because Jake Tapper couldn't understand what he was hearing. He has got a narrative at CNN that says tariffs are bad, and this is going to hurt the American worker. Here's this guy, Drew Greenblatt, explaining to Jake Tapper, who Jake Tapper was sidelined. I mean, we're talking about sucker punched with this diatribe. Listen real close.
We absolutely have had a couple people anxious about the stock market. But again, our goal is that we're going to sell millions more dollars, so we have to hire many more people. If we do that, we're going to hire them at very good jobs, with very good pay, wonderful benefits with the 401k match. True, there's some companies that have been buying T-shirts from Vietnam and China, and they're going to have to pay a couple more bucks for a T-shirt. And then the American consumer is going to have to pay more for a T-shirt. That's obviously not pleasant for those American consumers. But I think there's going to be an overwhelming surge of hiring in America as things level out, as American factories ramp up and people have to hire talent, buy machines. We've invested money in buying new machines because we're so enthusiastic, so optimistic about the future. That's good.
Jake Tapper didn't know what to do with himself. He's looking at, they had to take the camera off of him. They had to take the camera off of him because he was so stunned.
Jake Tapper's never done anything in his life.
Exactly.
He's never generated a job.
Exactly.
He's never made a payroll. He's never created anything. So all these talking heads, everybody's their heads are on fire. Oh, so and so said this is the end. They've never accomplished anything in their life other than sit in front of a camera and look pretty and get makeup done and read you the damn news. That's all they know how to do.
It's funny. He looks like Jake Tapper. No, I was going to say, Jake Tapper in that video looks like a guy who's never, ever talked to somebody outside of a studio. Go ahead. What was the last thing you were going to say?
I was going to say this. How does the stock market work? What is the slogan? Oh, that's right. Buy low, sell high. Well, in order to buy low, the market has to be low, people. Like, stop. Rome is not burning, okay? This is the time to invest. You know what's a great stock to buy? Tesla. You don't think that's not going away?
Good point.
Good point. Like, get it on the ground floor again. Like, you got a chance to make millions.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Let's go to Craig in the car. What's going on, traveling man?
Never take your advice from people that have only signed the back of checks for their whole lives.
Damn right, baby. What do you got for me?
But I do have some good news for Tim in Hamden.
Oh, what's that?
Since his testos didn't work in the office, his visit is free.
I'm done with you. Please end on a high note.
That is a high note.
Stop messing with that poor man. That is my job. I will not let you people bully him. I am here to bully him by myself.
Ciao.
Keep your hands off my Timmy. All you guys are taking shots at him. Y'all are mean in the chat room, dude. I love you. I love you all. Yeah, but you guys, oh my God. Listen, I don't think he's prepared for that kind of brutal backlash. But you know what? I think he's going to be tougher for it. Now he's got, I would consider you guys like his big brothers giving him a good once over. Like my younger brothers, I used to do to them. So I hope he gets tougher skin because you guys are pretty brutal in the chat room. That's all.
Well, every once in a while, the younger siblings need a noogie.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's exactly what you guys are giving him. I appreciate you, buddy. And it's true. I tell people all the time, if you really want to have a good time, go in the chat room, especially on Facebook. Just go to reasonthereradio.com and then friend us on Facebook. I know a lot of you guys follow, but friend us on Facebook. I got a lot of friend requests yesterday, and thank you all for joining the fold. But you guys get in the chat room and listen to these guys who are back and forth. It's something to behold. Brad's in the car. How are you, sir?
Hey, Reese. Please don't make me the last caller because I've already won some bagels. So,
no problem. No problem.
All right. I just want to say, I think the normal process, you don't get a Social Security number if you want to work. You get like a taxpayer ID number.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the process that should be followed. And I really hope that they're going to recall all these 4 million Social Security numbers because it is an absolute disgrace that it would be given out to non-citizens.
Yeah, it's insanity. Because imagine, listen, that Social Security card is a gateway to so many more privileges that these folks haven't earned the right to have. I mean, they just have it.
Absolutely. And once you have it, you can file taxes and you can get a refund. So I don't buy it that those who got it are not going to file taxes because you do get. I think it was a few years ago. There was a minimum that you got. If you're below a certain income level, so they could be double dipping the system. And if this is, I mean, to me, this is the thing that made me the angriest today. So I'm glad you brought it forward and it's been discussed. So I'm just fed up. I really am.
Not a problem, Brad. And like I said, I'm going to do some more reporting on it tomorrow as more stories about it come out because I'm sure we've only tipped the iceberg here. So I appreciate you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
You got it. Let's go to Fulton, who's in Waterbury. How we doing, buddy?
Good. One thing. Do you think they'd use the immigration thing, like say, like no taxation without representation, like, I don't know, 6 years from now, and get these people to vote that way, that they've been paying taxes?
Well, according to the report, as well as his name is Andy, I think his name is Gracias. I think I played a video of him like last week. He was one of the guys who's a venture capitalist who went in to look at the entire system. He was the one who brought the attention to everyone that there were these millions of people who had been put on this sort of Social Security status. And the fact that according to him, Gracias, I think his last name is, he had reported every one of those names, the people who have not only been allowed to vote, given voter registration, but he also found out that those people had actually voted, and they have referred every one of those people to the Department of Justice, because you know that was not done on their own. Someone made that happen, because we also know that somebody emailed themselves over 400 Social Security numbers. 400,000, I apologize. 400,000 Social Security numbers. So we're still going in.
Like 12 years from now, they take up a stance that we took up in 1775, whatever. That no taxation without representation. That was like one of the basis of, I think. I don't know. I went to school a long time ago, and I'm not the smartest cat, but I think that was it, right? So
yeah,
eventually, you think that'll be their argument?
Of course, that will be. Yeah, of course that'll be the argument. We'll keep Fulton on hold. We'll make sure that he gets the bagels. Anyway, as I always say, folks, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the Radio. You have a good night, pleasant tomorrow. We'll see you for Whack Job Wednesday, right here on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. Jason Catarinas, Mark Christopher is in the BPS Traffic Center. Good night, man.
Hey, have a great night, Reese. And if you're heading into Hartford right now, this traffic report being brought to you by the Connecticut Prevention.
All right, good sir.
All right, buddy.
Ride, both sides of
Let's get it popping next week. I mean, tomorrow. That's
next week. Goodness gracious.
When is our Sunday thing? I mean, when is our next Thursday, right?
In Windsor Locks.
Thursday, you're going to be on a stream from 4 to 6.
Okay, so the first hour will be live.
Yep.
Okay,
Master 84 eastbound.
All right,
Danbury
good
slow
enough.
3 to
I'm
5,
looking at the
eastbound
schedule
Newtown,
right
some
now.
tight traffic
All
by
right,
11.
see you mañana.
Southbound.
Yes, sir.
Slow between 60 and the West Rock. Southbound 91. Look for delays in New Haven from 6.
All right, folks. Thank you, Michael. Richard A., again, thank you. Happy birthday. Enjoy it. I hope you have a wonderful dinner, maybe with family, friends, or whatever. Maybe some apple pie as well. I love you guys. Y'all be good.